Ford Video Guy Studio in Salina, Kansas, it's McArthur Live with Tim Bartz and Sarah Davis. For all the information on ordering and production, Ford news, recalls, debunking all the fake news on social media, and whatever's on their mind, here's your hosts, Tim and Sarah. Welcome in, everybody. And we're trying something new. Got a different camera for this week. It's actually the camera I normally use for the videos with the backdrop. We're going to try to use that this week. It's a little bit better quality camera, and hopefully make the shorts look a little bit better. And but we're working on getting it in the right angle. But I think we have a good setup. It's a little crooked though. I'm gonna adjust it just a little bit. But hopefully, you guys, actually, I'll adjust it while you're chatting. But I hope you guys are having a great week. I think we're episode 182 this week. So I'm looking forward to this because the people have asked about Ford lingo and different things. So we'll get into that as the main part of the topic later in the video or in the live stream. But hopefully you guys will participate. We need you guys to participate. What are some of the terms that you guys thought that you're confused on and that you'd like us to talk about? I have a bunch listed. I got 2 pages here, but we'll ask for audience participation in this. You guys always participate anyway, but hopefully you guys are having a great week. Let us know what's going on, where you're at, and all that good stuff. And don't forget, we're streaming this on podcasting platform as well. We like Spotify and everything, but go where you want and you should be able to find us. Anyways, hope you guys are, or you can join, if you're listening, you can join us on our YouTube channel if you're streaming. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So while you're at telling people what all you did this weekend, I'll adjust the camera just a little bit.
What did we do? We cleaned the house. We deep cleaned our basement and got that all looking good, and then relaxed on Sunday. We are waiting for chicks because we were advised not to keep chicks in the kitchen due to health reasons. You don't want the birds in the same area that you're cooking food and whatnot. So we'll keep them downstairs. So we had to deep clean our basement so that we could make room and reorganize.
Yeah, I don't think you want chickens in your kitchen.
No.
Not unless you're
they're
cooking them.
They're chicks. They're babies.
Not unless you're cooking them.
True. So we did that, and then we're just waiting for the chicks to become available. Tractor Supply has them, but the company that they got them from did not label the boxes correctly, so they're not able to sell them until they get what breeds they got.
Oh.
Like, they legally can't sell them until they know what they have, and they weren't labeled enough. So They don't know what they have specifically.
Okay.
So, till that happens, and guess what? They won't get back to them they got the chicks Monday morning, and they won't hear back from the company that they got them from until tomorrow or Thursday. Like, wow. That.
All right.
We're learning things.
I'm learning right along with you, I guess. and then I don't have to actually participate.
Well, see, I have kids. I have my fur babies, and now I'm going to have feather babies.
Yep. There you go.
I hope to have goats one day. I want a couple of goats.
Hey, if you don't have to mow your yard, all power to you.
I think 1 to 2 goats, and then a garden that's blocked off from them, and then the rest, I think, will be good. Nice little homestead.
Okay. All right. Hey, did somebody already give us a super chat?
I haven't seen one. I'm still scrolling through things.
What
did you do over the weekend?
I don't know. I don't remember. So your mom, wait, no, was that? No, I don't know. One night she came home really late. Oh, it was Saturday night, but I had to be up at like 6 a.m. for church. And so I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. And so I took a little nap Sunday.
Yes.
And then the boys were over. playing and such, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
Didn't do a lot. Nice, relaxing day.
Oh, Mike M. He says the super chat is back. So I don't know if you caught on last week, but for some reason our members can't do super chats.
They had done something, and I was actually going through the settings this week, and I actually didn't realize it for this, but I noticed, I'm like, well, why are the super chats and super stickers and all this other stuff? Why is it gone? And so anyway, it was gone. So I just reactivated. I just moved the thing over.
I meant to talk to you about it and completely forgot.
So I was going through for other reasons for something else, and so I found it. I was like,
it's
"Oh,
always
okay."
Good to go through your settings. I have found every few weeks to every other month, just to make sure that everything's the same.
Yeah.
If they're doing updates and whatnot.
I think it was. I got something from YouTube. They always tell you, "Hey, new things are happening," and there was something new that was going to be coming on around, and I was looking for it, and that's how I happened upon it. Anyway, so there you go. So. All right. So yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's always cool. But
thank you.
Don't forget, make sure if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you are new, we like to talk about Ford news here, and we're probably the only channel out there that talks about scheduling information, answers your questions about scheduling of orders. If you custom ordered your vehicle, we'll talk about recalls and dealer news updates and everything else like that, and always have a topic. So anyway, we do have a merch site as well. I have one of those on right now. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's really comfortable. Anyway, there is coming up March 6th to the 11th, 15% off everything. So wait till then to get something if you're wanting something there and save yourself some money. But yeah, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. So there's some stuff for the Broncos, some different sayings. I know our favorite saying that we use at the end, that is got a sticker available. You can put on whatever. And we have all kinds of stuff. I know you have some shirts and stuff with that on there too. So all kinds of fun stuff. So check it out if you want. And always haven't added anything in a while. Might have to do that. I do have patches almost coming. I know you were working from the same guy. And so I got 2 patches coming. I got my Bronco patch.
Have you received the proof?
Yes.
I have not.
I received one for each. One of them was not right.
I ordered before you.
Well, the same day, but yeah.
But I have not received my proof.
Yeah.
He'll be getting a message tonight.
But on one of them, they forgot the Roush on the side.
Oh.
So I'm like, yeah.
I got my stickers.
Anyway, I think it looks better than my last ones for those because I had. For one, it's the right size. These are really small. Yeah, the windows on these are like gray and such. And so, yeah, it looks a lot better with what he had. And they could, you never know. But yeah, and then we'll have the state one too. So probably be sending out to most people. We'll be sending out both for people that want that. But yeah, so anyway, so have those going. So, and I'm hopefully get them in time for Supercell. That was the main reason I got them. So give them out at Supercell. So if you're going to be at Supercell, I think they're going to do some sort of patch thing, sticker swap. Anyway, there's that. But anyway, yeah, make sure you subscribe, bell notification turned on. Don't forget about website. I did an article this week. So I'm going to try really hard to write an article on at least Monday and Thursday, if not Monday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll see. I'll write articles as long as there's something that noteworthy. So the one I did a Maverick Monday video. Speaking of the videos that came out recently, Maverick Monday video yesterday, we talked about subscription services available on the Maverick specifically. There's more subscription services available on the Ford lineups, but the Maverick in general just has 3. So we talked about those, but it got me thinking about the others and how you can use Ford Pass rewards points for a lot of different things. So I wrote an article talking about all the different things that you may not even be aware of. You can use your Ford Pass points to pay for instead of paying it out of your pocket. So, Ford's giving you those reward points, use them, right? So I got like 72,000, I think, when I was doing the video, I realized. But anyway, so that's something. So we'll talk. So I wrote an article about that. So you can find those at FordVideoGuyMedia.com/blog, or just go to the website and you can find it. It's pretty easy to find there. As long as our merch site's there, the podcasts are all there as well. So, Also, this last week, I did a video for the Bronco, or the Bronco Wednesday, right? Built Wild Wednesday. And we went over off-road gear that I had. I went through some of the things that I had in there. And there's some things that I didn't go over that I have. Just for time, I tried to keep it to, I think it was 10 items. 10 things is what I wanted to keep it to. Although there's more things that you should have. Somebody had mentioned a flashlight. I'm like, I do have a flashlight on board, and a shovel, which I do need. I also, fire extinguisher is probably a good thing to have too. So a couple of things that I need to add to that. But anyway, so hopefully that was a good video. You people like that. And on Saturday, for Super Duty Saturday, we talked about the Ford security package that's available on F-150 and Super Duty, and what's included in that package too. So anyway, hopefully everybody enjoyed that. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's video. Did a walk around on an Outer Banks 2025 versus 2024. We happen to have a 24 and a 25, same color, white, in stock right now. And so it was real fun to have those side by side and go, let's look inside and let's look on the outside. What's different? Because there's a lot of things. I was really shocked. There's a lot of things that were added to the 25 that was not really talked about much. That I'm really excited about the video, because I don't think anybody's really talking about a lot of these things, some of these changes, small changes, but still they are changes, and trying to make things. And you can tell they are listening to the community, because there's some things that people have asked for that's being delivered on the 25. So look for that video tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to for that video. I got to edit it tomorrow, but looking forward to editing that. It's a good video. I think it'll be a fun video, and definitely, definitely more stuff than what we thought. The hardtop's the hardtop is not new, but yet it's different. The headliner's different. I won't go into all the specifics. Got to make you watch that video. But anyway, so there you go. All right, what else we got? Don't forget about all the channels that we like to, I wouldn't say support. I would say channels that we like to watch. So I added a couple this week. I didn't have yours in my list. In the description, you'll find a list of those. So all women driven, underscore in between each. So that channel is in there. Also, what's the other one? Turn Down for What? It's an EV podcast, and they do have a channel. And check that one out, because they were talking this last week about some things that enlightened me a little bit. So I definitely watch them as well. And then, of course, All Terrain Nation, Johnny's Car Cam Reviews, and all those. And then, of course, there's a bunch of others that are in there. Bird Dog, Off Road. Maybe I have to meet up with him. We're talking about going to the Grand Canyon this summer. So if so, we go to Arizona. I know he lives in Arizona. Maybe we'll try to do a meetup. You can take us off road, and anyway, we'll have to see. I'll hopefully he'll be he'll be in Tennessee. I don't know if he will. That's a long drive for him, but anyway. All right. That's what I have for that. Here they're chatting with everybody. I'm just trying to think of things to say. All right. Let's see what else going on here. I think that's it. I do have something new in the cup tonight. So, we got to throw that slide up. Hold on a second. I just was there. Got to figure out what's in Tim's cup, as the slide says. So what's in Tim's cup here? It is different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you guys will guess it. Anyway, so guess what's in Tim's cup?
I don't think I even know it.
You got water in there?
I switched. I got my drink in this one.
Oh.
And I put my water in this
one. Hey, it's getting close to St. Patrick's Day, isn't it?
Yes.
It's come up in March.
I swapped out my Valentine's Day for my...
See, I think St. Patrick's Day is on the 17th this year.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Moxie. You got Moxie?
Christmas is on the 25th this year too. All right. Thanksgiving's on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
All right. Dad jokes. Okay. Let's see. Let me go through this. You find a good dealer moment.
I have one.
Stop chatting with the chat.
I have one. So I am chatting with the chat, but we have someone that just picked up their Maverick.
Oh.
And so I'm going to use his dealer for the good dealer.
Well, okay. You got to share this stuff. When you go just chatting with the chat and you don't tell me what kind of conversation is going on, I feel like I'm out of the loop. All right. We have this this swap here with Heritage Texas. So you can find them here. Let me check this out here. It's always easier to see here. Got to go a lot further to get to the camera now. Pretty cool. So heritage.texas on Instagram. You can find them there. And look at all the stickers he sent. He's got a glitter sticker, got a regular sticker. He's got a poker chip, all kinds of stuff. A little horse in there, little $sign necklace thing. Crazy. These people are very generous. Anyway, so we'll get that on Instagram and post that up here in the next day or two. If you want to follow them, it's heritage.texas on Instagram. Anyway, pretty cool.
Man, with this camera, you can actually see what's on the back of my computer.
I feel like it's a little darker.
I feel like it's a little bit brighter.
Well, you're brighter. I feel darker.
It's because of your hat. Your hat.
I think it's the light. Because the camera's in a different spot. Instead of over here, it's over there, which is more straight on. I think that there's more light right on you.
Yeah.
Than me. Anyway. All right. Oh, all right. Before we do a good dealer moment, though, we've got to tell people if they want to become a member how to do that.
Yes.
And we got to highlight our members. So, all right. Go.
All right. If you'd like to become a member, it is that join button right next to the subscribe button. If you're an iPhone user or Apple user, you have to do things a little bit differently.
Of course.
You have to go to your web browser, click the little A and big A at the top, request desktop browser, and at that point, you should be able to see it. I actually keep that selected for all web browsers on my phone. I prefer it.
And then you can find all of our content under the membership tab, and then we'll post some things for the community as well. They'll show up in both places, but yeah, you want to do that. We did have it on our home screen for a little bit, but we had some people that thought they had to pay to watch certain videos, and I'm like, well, not technically, but we do special things for our members. So, but anyway, there you go. So you don't lose out on anything by not being a member. But if you're a member, you get to see more insights on what Tim's thinking and what I almost said Barbara, but Sarah's thinking. All right.
More what you're thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my electrified hat. So I got this at Electrified Expo. I don't know why I felt like wearing it, but I did. All right. What else? You got your we got to do shout outs for members.
Yes. I got 34 comments tagged.
All right.
All right, we're going to start off with Niles Gridley. Howdy, is anyone going to be rowdy? What's in Tim's cup? He is one of our moderators and in-house aftermarket specialist.
Yes.
So if you have any aftermarket questions, he is the guy to tag.
Yes, so tag him. And you just put @ before their name, and it'll tag them, and they'll be able to see it a little bit easier.
And then we have our other moderator, Mr. Ridgeview, unlocking Ford's language. Color me intrigued.
We had all kinds of title suggestions for this. We used AI to figure out how we want to do this. We had all kinds of suggestions. So you'll see what's on the thumbnail is different than the title. I'm like, hey, we can use both. We use 2 different ones, and I can't decide. So Ford's lingo.
That's kind of how I got my mine. I was using my podcast name. I was using AI to try and figure something out, and saw AW doing like, ooh.
Okay, so I'll have a little AI discussion for a second. So I like AI for things like that, for coming up with ideas or something like that, or things to do, or a better way of saying something. I'm not 100% on for AI when they're doing something for a different person. So instead of employee, they're doing something like that. So we have a chat provider that will do AI, and I'm like, no, we actually somehow I got turned on one night, and we had a chat, and the AI responded. I'm like, that's not even close to being right. What is going? No, shut that off. So there's some great, I think, benefits of AI, but when it is interacting for someone else, or for like a call center or a text or a chat, I'm not I'm against it for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, just putting that out there. Anyway, that's my take on it. All right.
I don't know how to use AI.
The Chat GPT and they actually, some people said, well, you could use it to like take your videos and put them in, and they'll
Yes.
script them out and then put them on a page or whatever, and then use AI to. I'm like, I'm lost.
So what I've seen is side jobs that you can do, or jobs that you can do from home that'll make you lots of money and you barely any time. It's like, take these videos or take this book and chat GPT it and do this and then do this and then do this, and then you submit it as this, and you're good to go. And I'm like, that's like 20 steps.
So I've
had
AI take the our shorts. Part of it is we use AI for part of it that actually, transcribes, what I say. There's a lot of ways that I say things that doesn't transcribe very well. I say picture, and when I mean like take a picture, it's usually, it says instead it's like a picture of water, right? So it always puts that in instead of picture, because of how I say things. So Jeff works really hard on getting rewording everything for those, because I could tell me when I was doing it myself and I was using AI, it was like I spent like an hour trying to correct all of the spellings.
Yeah.
So anyway, is what it is.
How do you say wash rag?
Wash? No. All right.
All right. We have Ford enthusiasts. Good evening, all. I hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to tonight's topic. Brian Foster. It's still hitting mid 70s in Orange County, California. I'm preparing the Maverick to sell.
To sell.
To sell. We also have Gino. Happy early Tuesday-ins. Clarence, 3 years ago, it was get dealer installed options. You'll get scheduled quicker. Now, don't do that. The dealer won't get the parts. What is the world coming to?
Actually, I haven't been a huge fan of the dealer installed options from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I remember because I had said at one point, if you want to hold yours off from getting scheduled, put them on there.
Yeah. We also have Ghosting. Hello, all. Ronald Smith. Good evening to everyone in the live chat. We have Bucko and Alan. Evening, all. Mabson, been a while, but here, staying caught up, watching the ones I missed. First robotics season started beginning of the year, so been busy mentoring.
There you go.
We also have Francis and Buck. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Artist formerly known as Chris Byrne, Buck, yeah, or Bucking Bronco.
Yep, we'll see him in Texas pretty soon. I'm really getting excited for that. So
we also have Steve Young, Mid-Coast, Maine. Buck, yeah, says that the quality is noticeably better.
Okay.
Alan wanted to know if I would get the fainting kind of goats. Maybe. And then Bucko says the only goat I would get would be a Ford Bronco. We also have. Oh, would you like to hear your guesses here?
Yes. Why not?
Red Bull, Moxie, iced coffee.
Almost.
Niall says actual coffee.
Nope.
S. Waltz says energy drink. C4 energy drink. And S. Waltz actually just
became a member.
Rejoined.
Oh, rejoined. Cool.
He'd been a member a while ago. Yes. Let's see. All right. I think that was everyone.
All right. So we can talk about the drink. So this, probably most people won't get this because it's not a typical, like, it is an energy drink, but not one you will find at a convenience store. I realize this is from Aldi. So I've been shopping at Aldi's with my son because he's shopping there to save some money, and that's great. We can all save money. So I've been shopping at Aldi, and I've been looking at some of their drinks. And this Summit Gridlock energy drink. And from what I understand, I think that it's only you can only get it at Aldi. It's an Aldi brand. Summit is an Aldi brand, I think. Didn't know that. They said it's discontinued, but I bought 2 cans of it, so it's not
Yeah.
evidently not discontinued yet because I got it. To be honest, it tastes just like C4 or any of those others.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's why I got zero sugar one though, of course. So there you go. We'll see. It's not the same as G Fuel, but it tastes pretty good. There you go.
All right.
Okay.
I didn't even know that. And then good dealer moment.
Yep.
Slide. I could technically do it myself. All right. So James just picked up his Maverick and he says, thanks for the intel and advice. Much appreciated. He was stuck for shopping for the Maverick out here in Washington, D.C., and he purchased in Alexandria, Virginia. So the dealership is Oursman Ford of Alexandria. Good pricing. Picked up the Maverick same day as it was delivered to the dealer. Was looking for a Lariat with tow package without the appearance package. So there you go.
All right.
So Oursman Ford of Alexandria, Virginia.
All right.
There we go.
Another state I haven't been to. Well, actually, we've been in Virginia, kind of, right?
Kind of.
We went to Washington, right? You kind of going to Virginia?
We crossed
Maryland, I know.
So we were staying in Maryland. We went and saw DC, and then as we went from Maryland up to Carlisle, I think we might have gone through like an edge, a little corner. But I know Lebo and I actually traveled through and down through Virginia at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yep. All right.
Tim's dancing on the tabletop. You know it's a good energy drink.
I don't dance, so Anyway.
If we get a few more rants tonight.
Right? All right. We're going to get into this. So earlier tonight, the scheduling video went live, and at usually 6:30 most weeks, as long as I get it done by then. And so that video went live. So if you want to see the full details in there, I'll just kind of skim through why anybody that has questions, because I say, come on over, ask your questions about scheduling, and we'll address them here. So go ahead and post those questions in there if you have them, while I just kind of recap the specifics. Now, here's the big thing about this week, and is that this week here is, again, we're on like the 3rd or 4th week of scheduling. And so at this point, most dealerships have used their allocations. So there's going to be very few dealers that are using it. So some phrases you'll see in here is cleanup scheduling, which means they're trying to just, I don't know how they clarify that, but for the factory, they're trying to clean up anything else they can produce, right? So they know they have a certain capacity that they can produce of certain options and motors and trims and different things like that, right? That they have a certain capacity that they could make this many, as long as they have the orders that fit perfectly to be able to make that many, right? And so they're trying to clean that up so that they have the scheduling figured out for April before moving on. So that's what they're doing. That's kind of the cleanup. But also, I kind of feel like sometimes I like to say it's also cleaning up any allocations, because Ford doesn't want dealers to move into the next month with allocations not been used, right? They don't want any unused allocations moving on. So like we have one Maverick allocation left. We had the first week, we had like one that was used for a retail order. The next week, we had then 5 left. I think we used 4 of the 5, one for retail order and then a couple stock orders. So they left 1 for us. And so like that could be used on a retail order or a stock order, but it needs to be used this week before they move on. So we'll start getting our numbers and start thinking about May's production and what they call wholesale. If we get that all figured out by the end of this week, probably early next week. And then we'll have about a week to get our numbers figured out before they start scheduling the week after that. So that's kind of the way that'll work. So March, probably the week of March 10th is when the first week they'll schedule for those May production dates, which would be the new allocation. So we have, again, this week, next week, with some of these being used. But the biggest thing is dealer needs an allocation. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So in fact, I talked to somebody that was asking about their order and saying that they're with the dealer. They've talked to the dealer. They say they don't have any issues with allocations or anything. And I was able to get a hold of somebody, my friend at Ford, and I said, can you just look this person's order up with their dealer, because I can't see their information. And he did. He looked it up and said, well, the big thing at this dealer is they're a smaller dealer, so they have 7 orders but only 1 allocation. So right now his isn't previewing because there's a low number of allocations, and there's other people with orders that are configured that they know they can schedule versus this one, which happened to be like a hybrid all-wheel drive, Lariat. So it was going to be a little more difficult for that order to get scheduled at that dealer. But if they're at another dealer like us, we have 0 retail orders, but an allocation. So if you have somebody that has a retail order with us and it's the only retail order, you got a lot better chance. So it really comes down to, there's a little bit of that going on, and the dealers have to be open to tell you that. Not all dealers will do that. But so here's some of the basics. We know that Mustang is going to be scheduled this week. And cleanup scheduling, they're looking for, basically EcoBoost orders is what they're needing. Very limited, exhausted on GT. That's, most people are getting GT. They need some EcoBoost orders, and that's what will be available for them. Escape is scheduling this week, which actually surprises me, because usually after about the second week, they're pretty much got their month planned. But they are scheduled this week. Bronco Sport is scheduled this week as well. And, again, it's the same thing we saw last week, where that tire that's on about everything, your XLT Maverick, as well as on your Big Ben, your freewheeling package on the Bronco Sport and all that. Heritage Edition, that same tire is limited. So getting something that takes a different tire is important if you're a dealer that's needing to use that Bronco Sport allocation. That's where that Black Diamond package with a different tire comes in handy, or a Badlands version, or an Outer Banks that has a different tire size. And then Bronco is scheduling. It does say in here, but it was the same note as last week, so I don't know if this is accurate. It says no Raptor and no Strop versions, but we have 3 Raptor allocations that haven't been scheduled yet. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see there. Also, they mentioned the manual transmission. More than likely you're not getting scheduled this month. I mean, they basically, in not any specific words, they don't just come out and say that, but it does say here for early schedule date on 2.3 EcoBoost with the 7-speed automatic, consider changing that 10-speed automatic. It tells me they're probably not going to schedule any manual transmissions, because we know that they moved a bunch of manual transmissions that were already scheduled to late April. So more than likely, if you got a manual, Bronco, you're probably waiting until next month. But they're needing some base orders with automatic. They're needing some Badlands 2-doors, 2.3 with automatic, 2.7 4-door with automatic. They need some Badlands, both 2-door and 4-door with Sasquatch package, and the standard, well, I wouldn't say the standard wheel, but the dark carbonized gray wheel, not the beadlock wheel. Outer Banks with the 2.7 with a carbonized gray molded. Everybody wants to add that body colored top, and so they're pretty much constrained on that. Which is, it's in here, is exhaust availability. And then also they need some Heritage orders with the 2.7. So, which that tells me something. That tells me that there are a lot of people that ordering the 2.3 and are okay with the 2.3 liter engine.
Yeah.
I mean, we tend to, around here, we order a lot of 2.7s, but not a lot of 2.3s. I'd like to see us mix that up a little bit. But mach-e is not scheduled this week. The Explorer is scheduling, and they have a lot of very limited exhausted. So you'd have to have just the right criteria and configuration to get scheduled on an Explorer right now. The active version is very limited exhausted are the active version, the ST version, the Platinum version. That leaves an ST, I think, and that might be about it, right? And then the wheels, the you probably need to go ST with the optional wheel, and then not have keypad on your order, because keypad is also. So Expedition is not scheduling, but they did schedule a bunch of orders last week. We used all of our allocations last week on orders. 25 model year Maverick is scheduling as well. They're down to 2,200 unscheduled orders. There's a lot of things. Again, you'd have to have just the right mix to get scheduled. So, and again, the dealer needs an allocation. So very limited exhaust availability is the advanced all-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive, and the front-wheel drive. And I don't know how you figure that, because there's no drive left. And then Tremor version, XL version as well, the hybrid version. So you probably need to have like an EcoBoost, maybe EcoBoost front wheel drive. Well, you can't have an EcoBoost front wheel drive. So EcoBoost order maybe would sneak in. Maybe a hybrid front wheel drive would sneak in. I don't know. The less of these items you have, the easier it would be. So if they see an order that like, oh, well, they have all wheel drive and hybrid and, XL, well, good luck, because you have 3 things that are on that list. But if you're, maybe a hybrid front wheel drive and, XLT, then that might be more likely to go, if that makes sense. So I know part-time drive is listed, but it wasn't listed last week, which means it might barely be a constraint. So, and again, these are just constraints for this week. I like people. I have a lot of people that say go online and oh no, it looks like they're back at it again. The hybrid's a constraint again, like it was 2 years. No, this is just for this week. If we talk about the first week of scheduling, full capacity open, right? So anyway, just throwing that out there. 25 model year Ranger is not scheduling. Super Duty is not scheduling. First time I haven't seen it schedule in a long time. It is not scheduling, which means they scheduled out a good chunk of their production so far. So that's pretty good to see. F-150 is scheduling, and then same things as last week. So nothing different on that. Very limited exhausted for the 5.0 liter engine in the 3.5 gas. So you probably want to be looking at maybe a hybrid. In fact, they need orders for Lariat hybrids. So that'd be a good way of going. Also very limited on the moonroof, the 18-inch chrome wheels, which is on the XLT. Also the 18-inch gloss black wheel that's on the XLT black appearance package. So might be a struggle to get XLT scheduled. Also Tremor is also in there too. And then tonneau covers, but you know how I feel about that. Lightning is on there listed. They are scheduled this week as well. They need some XLT versions to get scheduled. And then Transit is also scheduling as well. And then they have a lot of different things that they could do. Very limited exhausted for the medium roof passenger van. Also limited availability for the low roof passenger van. And then the 5th row bench seat. So that means your 15th passenger. So anyway, so there you go. So with that in mind, are there any questions?
We do have some questions.
Okay.
All right. So I gotta figure out which one. No. Okay. Any specific information on F450s? Are they still an issue, or has your dealership received any?
Yeah, we've gotten some scheduled. We've received, haven't received a lot, but we didn't have a lot ordered either. But we had someone that got ordered an F450 and within a week got scheduled. So really, again, allocation's king. So if you have a dealer who has a lot of allocations and such, but 450, they doubled production for 450 for April. Sorry, for April build dates, they doubled production for 450s. That is a good thing. That's why we're not seeing a lot of those constraints anymore on 450 or on the Super Duty, because a lot of it was that. So looks like to me that supply has ramped up on 450 and it shouldn't be an issue. Probably, again, the big thing is, like a lot of people are saying, is mine's not scheduling, it's not scheduling, it's not scheduling. It really could be who you're ordering your dealer with, your, who you're ordering with, right? That dealership having allocations, like I talked about. That customer that they order with the dealership and they said, oh, we don't have any issues with allocations. We get everything, scheduled without any problem. But then when I find out on the back end that they have 7 unscheduled orders and 1 allocation, that's not the story. So they're lying to their customers. So you know, that's something that to take note of. So anyway,
Yeah.
but all right, what else?
Okay. I'm answering Ragnarcon's food question. All right, here we go.
All right.
Okay. On 2/10 of 25, I retail ordered a 25 F450 XL with gooseneck dual hitch kit/standard 6.7. The order summary shows priority code 19 and job number 1 order. What should I expect scheduling to begin?
Okay, so they are scheduling. They are not scheduling this week, but almost every week they are scheduling for the Super Duty, and people are getting their F450 scheduled. But here is the big kicker: is they need some orders without the gooseneck hitch prep package, which is what you have. So that's the issue. Yours might take a little longer because you have that on your order, but again, allocation. So the question is that you have to have that conversation with your dealer is, do you have Super Duty allocations still available? And how many unscheduled orders do you have? Because if they don't have any, or they have a very low, but they have high number of orders, it's going to take more than 1 week or 1 month to get them scheduled, right? So that's the big thing. We have gotten vehicles, and we have some on our lot right now. We had some F350 dualies with gooseneck hitch prep packages, but we have allocations and we ordered them correctly, with that being the only constraint. They took those orders. So there is some maneuverings with that. So on the F450, you know, I mean, not telling you to take that off, because that's that gooseneck hitch prep package. You probably also have the gooseneck dual hitch kit too. That the kit's not really the issue. It's the prep package that's the issue. So that all has to be done. So there's only so many of those they can do a month, because they have to pre-drill the holes. They have to put all the supplies in there, the wiring and all that. That takes somebody, you know, doing that. So they can only do so many of those a month. And because of that, that causes a constraint, because everybody wants it on their Super Duty, right? I mean, it's great. It's pre-drilled holes. You just put the kit in there. You get the wiring in the bed already. It's so nice. But if there's a way you could go and maybe do it afterwards, or do it from we have a place here in town that we can have do it. That would be the best thing. But otherwise, if not, you're just going to have to hold tight and wait for it to get scheduled, and hope that your dealer gets plenty of allocations. And that's going to be a kicker. So, and Super Duty is one of those where, like, for us, we get a ton of allocations for Super Duty. We're one of the top Super Duty dealers in the country, and we don't have any retail orders really. And so, like, we're getting a lot of stock. Like, we've seen them showing up. We've been pitching them left and right here at the dealership. We probably have about 20 to 30 stock Super Duties, because we have allocations and we don't have retail orders. So anyway, our camera froze for a second. Anyway, it's back. It's good. All right. There's K-Fly right there. See,
Yeah.
That's who I was talking about. Got hers scheduled. Showing to arrive at your dealer within the next week. Yeah, we looked at it last week on our member video, your order there. So yeah, it's getting close. Yay.
All right. And I don't have any other scheduling. Oh, do we know why the Mavericks that are supposed to come with a bed liner all come with a $500 delete?
$500 delete. Talking about.
He says that there's Mavericks coming in that are supposed to have a bed liner but have a $500 delete.
I'd love to see the window sticker on that. Yeah, you can, if you want to email us.
We can do some digging.
Yeah, I can. I'd love to see the window sticker, because that's not a $500. Now, there is, I think, on certain vehicles that come standard with the spray and bed liner that you can. I think early on, okay. Oh, there was a case early on where you could take this spray and bed liner off your order, and you got a $500 discount. That was a part of job 1. I remember that now. Yes. I think it was on either Lariat or I think Lariat and Tremor. I think those two vehicles, you could add a spray and bed liner delete option, and you would get that discount, and they would come without a spray and liner. So So you wouldn't have the $500 discount if you get the spray and liner. It should be without a spray and liner and get a $500 discount. So that was an option that Ford had for a while, and then they did away with it for job 2. So
Yeah.
actually, I think even Highway Port.
So James says all the Mavericks I have seen while shopping have no bed liners.
Yep. So spray and bed liner was removed from XLT Lux packages. The only thing that's showing as a standard equipment for the spray and bed liner, I think, is trimmer and lariat.
Yeah.
Maybe Lobo 702A. I'd have to look that up.
Is there an option to get it without the bed liner?
Not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Okay.
There for a while at the beginning, they did that because they weren't sure how production was going to go.
Okay.
So they made a
maybe
delete
some
option.
of the dealers just had it on there.
Well, so dealers every year is different, but I think dealers are remembering how the spray and bed liner was delaying orders when it was holding things up right back in 23 model year. And so I think dealers still they remember. What's amazing is how much they can forget, but they'll remember certain things. And that's one of the things they remember. So I think dealers
They're lariats.
Okay, yes. So so lariat, now here. Actually, let me pull it up. I'll just pull up. I'll show you because I actually keep all the order guides. So let me pull up the very beginning of the year on Maverick and show you. They're like one of the first order guides. I got to go down to lariat. So it's only lariat comes standard with the spray and bed liner. And all right, so lariat. So it came standard with a spray and bed liner as part of the exterior features, I believe. Yep, spray and bed liner was standard equipment. But what Ford did was they had a spray and bed liner delete option 96A that could be put on a lariat order. Now that was in early, like I said, early in the year. So this is their very original order guide has that delete option. So it would be an early one. I can tell you, I can probably look and see when they got rid of that option. Actually, I think that was under the major changes. That wasn't in September. But I do remember that. Here we go. So that was a job 2 change. So it does say in here, job 2 update was spray and bed liner delete option was no longer a constraint. Forecast capacity was increased. So they removed that option. So for job 2, so if you have a job 1 lariat, it could have the spray and bed liner delete option, which means it wouldn't have a spray and liner. So
yep. All righty.
But that was a job, like I said, that was a job 1. All job 2s, that's not a possibility. You can't do that.
Which we haven't started to see job 2s arrive yet, correct?
They're not us. I know there's a Lobos that have arrived at some places.
So James has said that the truck was just delivered. It's a 25. So yeah,
it'd be a job 1 though.
Most likely be a job 1.
So job 2s are just starting to mix in and be released from the factory.
They started with Lobo.
Well, Lobo and
it's the most notable.
Yes. But yes, so job 2 production started at the beginning of this month. So that tells you they haven't produced in that many. So most of the trucks arriving right now are probably job 1s, almost all of them.
Yeah. So we have Gary here. Was the Platinum Plus package on the Super Duty a job 2? I have an order in with my dealer since the beginning of November, and the sheet said job 1.
Yeah, see, when you first order it, then it's going to show as a job 1. But if they can't schedule it before it shifts to job 2, then it'll automatically change to a job 2 at that point because they'll stop doing job 1s. I know on the F-150 that Platinum Plus was a job 2 change or job 2 production. I don't know about the Super Duty. Let me actually look at the order guide on that.
Gary, has it been scheduled yet?
Oh, wow, I can't. There's no way I can see that.
New things afoot here, and
yeah, that's really tiny.
Not gonna work.
Well, it doesn't help that the Super Duty order guide is tiny anyway because they try to pack in so much information on each page. But I don't know on Platinum Plus if that's a job 1 or 2, to be honest.
Has not been scheduled.
It's not been scheduled. Okay. They might have done the same thing they did with F-150 because I know on F-150, Platinum Plus was a job 2. They wouldn't schedule, like you could order it, but they wouldn't schedule until job 2 production scheduling started. Yeah. And that's how they did that. And I don't see, where's your packages? Packages, platinum. Well, it doesn't say that it's going to be, it doesn't, a lot of times they'll say late availability, and on the Super Duty, they do not have that as a late availability, but that actually is in December. So I don't think they've started job 2 yet for Super Duty. Let me look and see if it's on here. No, it looks like Platinum Plus packages could be a job 1, so it could still probably schedule. So,
All right. That is what I had for scheduling.
all right. Don't have much for dealer news updates. Let me go into that though. Speaking of Platinum Plus, this note, it came out February 24th, so Monday, for the Platinum Plus benefits for F Series owners, and this is on Super Duty and F-150, because you get, not only is it, so Platinum Plus is the new limited, right? So limited last year is Platinum Plus this year for the Super Duty. F-150 did see that as well. So for job 2, it says production started, and actually this does say for both. So that answered the question we just had a second ago. Platinum Plus production started at job 2 for F-150 and Super Duty. In addition to the luxurious interior and distinguishing exterior appearance, customers also enjoy a variety of ownership benefits to enhance the luxury experience. So these benefits include a 2-year Ford Protect premium warranty plan, oil changes, tire rotations, etc. So that's basically paid for the first 2 years. 25% off accessories. So now this is to be used within the first 90 days, though. So if you want any accessories, that's a great way of doing it, saving some money. Ford Pass rewards blue tier upgrade. That's a 10% bonus in points. And I don't know the difference in those. I know I'm blue tier right now, but that automatically gets you to blue tier, which normally takes a little bit to do. You get a welcome email to ensure a smooth transition into Platinum Plus ownership. You get a personalized support via a dedicated one-to-one texting line with a product expert. So basically a good salesperson. I mean, I joke about this because I'm sorry, but this is what the salespeople should be doing. They should know this stuff. But there you go. So this way you make sure you get an expert that knows their stuff that you can contact. Welcome package and a tribute gift typically ships within 2 to 3 weeks from reporting sale date. So it's kind of cool. You're going to get those extra benefits right there. So it shows dealers what to do in here and what to report on the Smart Vincent to make sure that those customers get their stuff. Right. So anyway, and then something that came out today is a price increase on the F-150 Lightning, which is funny. I did see a change in the gas version as well, so I think they're getting the same thing happening, but probably we'll get the memo tomorrow on it. But it looks like the destination delivery is going up by $100 for all your Lightnings, and I really do believe it's going to happen on your the regular F-150s as well. So it's now going to be $21.95. So I guess our shipping cost to go to New York of $1,700 is not that bad when you figure what they're charging.
Yeah.
But they are going by rail, so that's a little more expensive.
True.
Guess, but there you go. That's all I had for dealer news. There's a couple other things that came out. It's really dealer specific, and I didn't think it was we need to go over here. But anyway, so there you go.
So if we had just waited a second on that comment.
Right? If I had read my dealer news, a lot of times I print the stuff throughout the week, and then I just have it ready, and I don't read through it. So I read through it with you guys. I go, oh, okay. That's how prepared I am.
Are we ready for recalls?
I am.
All right.
You got any questions on those 2 items?
No. Do not.
You know what they need to do next? They got that Platinum Plus. Is they need a little membership thing that all owners can purchase and say, I want to have this membership, so they can get the discount, but they can also get the one-to-one expert. Right? Anyway, what we need to do next is they just need to bring me in for counseling, consulting, so I can train those experts that are going to take those calls. I try to do that here with these videos.
Well, and we've had I recently had someone call in and say that they were looking for the answer to something, and he's like, I've called everyone at Ford that I can think of. I've called multiple numbers. Like, most likely you're getting customer service representatives. They're trained on very specific things, none of which are the product. So, yeah, no, they won't know anything about the product. They won't know the answer to this. I'll go find the answer for you.
Do you remember that person that called, talked to Kyle on a Lincoln vehicle or something? Or I don't know what it was, but he called for something. Oh, he called for support because he needed help with something. So he called the Lincoln support line, and he said, "Yeah, I'm with McArthur Ford." And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute," or McArthur Lincoln at the time. And they're like, "Wait a minute, yes, you know what? It's Tim Bartz. I watched his videos to prepare me for the interview for this job." He was. That was okay. That was kind of funny, but it helped him get his job. Anyway, so kind of funny. All right, end of recalls. Let's do that. Got to click on the right one there. Not confuse anybody. Okay, there are a few recalls in here, but luckily most of them aren't safety recalls for the first time. These are customers. So a lot of times we talk about recalls and they're under the recall list, but there are several different types of recalls or different programs. There's safety recalls, and then there's customer satisfaction programs, which a lot of these are. And so customer satisfaction program just allows for the customer to have something, if they find that issue, then they can go in and get it fixed, and they get it taken care of. And it's not something that's going to kill them usually. Right. And so anyway, so this first one is customer satisfaction program 25B01. For 24 model year F-150, Mustang, Expedition, Navigator, Transit, Super Duty, and 25 model year Explorer vehicles equipped with the 10R80 or the 10R100 transmission. So this is a transmission assembly replacement. So only 398 vehicles are affected by this one. So a very small number, especially when you talk about how many different vehicle lines that are in this. So this program will be in effect through February 20th of 2026 with no mileage limit to this program. And so it does say in here, the reason for this program is on the affected vehicles, a batch of 10R80 and 10R100 one-way clutch mechanisms were built with the wrong size roller bearings. If the OWC mechanism fails due to undersized roller bearings, the vehicle will experience limited gear availability. In most cases, the OWC will lock into the on position, restricting the vehicle to first, second, eighth, ninth, 10th gear in reverse gear. The customer may experience noise and vibration. Additionally, a wrench light may be present on the cluster display screen, accompanied by diagnostic trouble codes DTC P2701 and P0757, indicating a malfunctioning transmission system. So it does say owner letters are expected to be mailed the week of March 3rd to these customers. So anyway. All right. Next up is Customer Satisfaction Program 25B03. And this is for 24 model year Mustang Mach-E vehicles. Hey, I got one of those. This program will be in effect through February 28, 2026. There's no mileage limit to this. So this affects 13,851 Mach-E's built between July 17th of 24 through December 5th of 24. Hey, I'm in the clear. I got mine by then. It says, anyway, in some of the affected vehicles, the 12-volt battery may be partially or completely drained due to unintended wake-up signals from the onboard high-voltage battery charging system, also known as the secondary onboard diagnostic module. Partial or fully drained 12-volt batteries are preventing startup of the vehicle, potentially without an alert. This will not, however, result in a loss of motive power during driving. So usually on the electric vehicles, you need that 12 volt for like just kind of the accessories and such like that, and to help start up the motors and everything. But it won't, once you get that startup going, then you don't need it to drive. So that's why they're saying that. So it does say owner letters are expected to be mailed the week of February 24th, 2025 or sooner. It's already past that. So I would say not sooner unless you've already gotten it. All right. The next one is Customer Satisfaction Program 24B57 for 24 model year F-150s. Says that 34,189 vehicles are affected by this. And those that are built at Dearborn between December 15th of 23 through September 13th of 24, and Kansas City between January 6th of 24 through September 3rd of 24. So it does say in this one here, some of the original marketing material for the affected vehicles include incorrect information. This has to do with your trailer tow capacity of your vehicle. So vehicles ordered with the tow haul package are only equipped with an upgraded rear bumper when also equipped with the max trailer tow axle. This upgraded rear bumper does not change vehicle operation or appearance and is only unique to allow fitment of the max trailer tow axle feature and related components. For vehicles equipped with the 3.5 hybrid powertrains, the original marketing material may have incorrectly stated the gross combined vehicle rating and the maximum conventional tow capacity for a vehicle with this trim series. The correct GCWR for a vehicle with this trim series is 17,100 pounds with a maximum conventional towing capacity of 10,800 pounds when properly equipped. Ford notes that these numbers may vary on each specific vehicle configuration, a lot of it based on equipment that's in your vehicle, because that is your gross vehicle. So, yeah. So it says owner letters are expected to be mailed the week of February 24th. So there you go. All right. This in here is update prior to sale 24U13. So this is for dealers. So this is a 24 model year F-150s to inspect for roof mastic skips. So there's 1,261 vehicles that need to be inspected. And this one will be in effect through February 28th to 26th. Or up to 60 days post the warranty start date. So the reason for this one is on some of the affected vehicles, the roof may have been assembled without proper mastic coverage on underlaying reinforcements. So I think that's what goes on the top of the roof there. So basically the dealers are supposed to inspect these. No owner letters are going to go out because this needs to be done by the dealer before it gets during the pre-delivery inspection process. So this other one actually is just something I wanted to kind of take note of. So this has to do with the Maverick. So wait, is this on the, no, this is on the Bronco. Sorry. So on the Bronco here, so this in here, this came out actually a long time ago. Actually, why do I have this? Never mind. This is very old. So somehow it ended up in my list. So, all right. Don't worry, nothing on the Bronco. Thank goodness. This one had, I don't know why. This is from 2021 and it came through. And I don't know how it got mixed in my stuff, but it was about the roof panel delamitation. It was fun to look through though, because it had the order holder and Bronco frequently asked questions, and it talked about delays and how it can speed up their order and everything. I was like, oh, 2021 Bronco. Those were the days. All right. There we go. Any questions on that?
Priscilla was wanting to know if 22 Ford Explorer has any recalls.
Ooh, I go over the recalls on a weekly basis when they show up. I'd have to actually look back and see. I know there has been some Explorer recalls. Now, here's the thing to do. If you're wondering if you have a recall, is that you can go to a website. In fact, let me post it in the chat. So you can look, because you can go and actually look up every vehicle, and all you got to do is put the VIN number in there. And so you can even do this through your Ford Pass app, I believe. And if they have their vehicle in there in the Ford Pass app, then they can actually load this in. Let me find this real quick, and I'll throw that in there. because I actually put it in my notes here, but I always forget to post it. Oop. But it is, you can go to this website, and what it'll do is instruct you to put in your VIN number, and then it'll tell you if your vehicle has any recalls. So there you go. And if you log into Ford.com as well, it does that. So I actually had pointed this out and showed this in my Maverick Monday video. And I showed how you can, if you log into your account, how it showed my Bronco had a recall. It was a seatbelt recall, and I could get it done, but I thought it actually changed the latch, and I found out from Becca that it actually wasn't. It was adding something to the actual harness so that the buckle didn't drop down so far. Because I think people like to just grab the buckle, and it being up here is where they expect it, and it's not. It's down below. I pull the strap, and then I grab the buckle and pull it up, so it doesn't bother me. But that's the recall that I have that needs to be done. So,
all right. Are Ford dealerships able to sell the 2024 XLT and XL, and they just can't leave the lot because of the safety recall?
Technically, they can sell them. They just can't be delivered. So they can't be driven.
Right. So
they
we have
can't-
some
they
people
can't-
that are calling and going, hey, is this true? I can't take my vehicle? Yes. They say, well, I bought my truck a month ago. I'm about to make my first payment, and I haven't even driven it.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they aren't even allowed to test drive them. You shouldn't even.
no demo, no delivery is
Yes.
basically the phrase. So you're not supposed to be able to test drive them. So that would be the question I would have is, did they let you test drive it when you were there? Because they weren't supposed to allow you to. They weren't supposed to do that.
I've heard several people say that their dealer let them test drive. One guy even had it taken to his apartment. So his salesman took it to his apartment, let him test drive it, and then
Came and picked it up.
came and picked it up.
Well, somebody I know was a big deal because they couldn't take delivery of it, but they kept their trade in. So they had nothing to drive at all. And I'm like, no, they should give you a vehicle to drive.
Yes.
I mean, what would they do if they were in that situation?
They
Right?
would take a vehicle off
So
the
you
lot.
either need to reverse the deal and give me my trade-in back, or you need to get me a loaner vehicle that I get to drive until I can get my Maverick.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. So that way you're in one of their vehicles.
Yep.
I mean.
Yeah. So here at McArthur, we just made it simple and took them completely off our website, and we are not selling them until we are ready.
I think right when it happened, like that week that the recall happened, we actually, I think, did sell a couple. They didn't take delivery, and so I think I don't know if we backed the deals up. I'm not part of that process, but I know there were a couple people that purchased and then they couldn't take delivery, and so I think
I think we had like a few that they had purchased. They could have taken delivery that day because the recall hadn't gone into effect, but they had left it here for like a Pro Pack or a ceramic or something, and then they couldn't take delivery of it because so it was the next day.
Yeah, because you can't once you can't basically report the deal to Ford. So anyway, all right.
Okay. Any news on the battery fix?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Battery and the backup camera, neither one.
Okay. Do you have the Ford customer service phone number? They had.
It's on Ford's website.
Okay.
You just go to Ford.com and it's at the bottom.
Yeah. His friend got a recall done for a steering wheel to be replaced, and they fitted a different, smaller one without all the original features.
Oh.
So it sounds like they mixed up the part numbers.
Yeah, if you go to like Ford.com and then either at the bottom.
Support.
Yeah, under support, there's
service and maintenance.
There's all kinds of different ways to get a hold of them.
Yeah, but there's
recalls
service.
And there's recalls.
Oh,
right down there too.
Go.
So those are just the links to there.
There's different ones.
Owner vehicle dashboard login, so you can click there. Vehicles, service and maintenance, technology, support home, go to Ford.com.
All right. Are the max recline seats for the F-150 job 2 thing? I don't see them on the build and price.
Yes. Yep, because that was something that I originally was on the order guide at the very beginning, and then it went off the order guide.
Yeah.
After I did the video. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then they said it was going to be a job 2.
All right.
But that should be available
if
now.
he was one. Okay.
So
Yeah.
because job 2, they said started according to that one memo.
Yeah. So Aiden's wondering if he should start a case.
Okay, so he
had a recall done for the steering wheel, and they replaced the steering wheel with the wrong one.
I think you need to go back to give the dealer a chance to fix it. So go back to the dealer, and if they don't they refuse to do something, then ask for the service manager. And if they still refuse to do something, then you start a case and you call Ford complaint line.
Yes.
Yep.
But definitely, if he's not getting any traction with the service advisors, get the service manager.
Yeah, get the service manager.
Even if it's a part of a dealership or in tandem with a dealership, general manager.
Yes, it's asked for a service manager or general manager. One or the other.
We've had a few of those.
Yep.
So, alrighty. Onward.
Any others? I don't have an Is It True. This is like the second week in a row I haven't had an Is It True. I usually get those by seeing something out there that I see in some of the forums of what people are saying and going, that's not true. But I don't have any. I guess I haven't been looking that hard. Anyway, but I thought we'd get into our topic for this week because somebody had posted this. So let me throw this up first. All right. So somebody had said, hey, maybe you should do it was supposed to be originally for Maverick, but I thought, you know what, this is, I think, good topic for everybody to see, not just our Maverick people. And that is the different Ford lingo, the different things that Ford calls things. And what are they? What's it mean? And what do they do? And that kind of stuff. So I have a full list.
Basically breaking down the 40s.
Yes. So I'm going to help you speak Ford 101 tonight. So welcome to class, everybody. Have a seat. Get your notepads out. Hit your record.
I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was like, what did your dad go to college for? Because I said that you had a degree. And I was like, well, originally he went to go be a math teacher.
Yeah.
And went to Parks and Recreation. That's what his degree is in. She's like, I could totally see him being a teacher. I'm like, well, that's basically what we do now.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We teach.
All right. So I might need your participation because I've been working here for 20 years doing this. And I've known how to speak Ford for a long time. So I might need, because even I was looking at it going, okay, well, that's a no. Oh, wait, maybe it's not a no-brainer. All right. So I actually broke this out from different things because, where I got a lot of this is if you watch my videos that I do where I go over the standard and optional equipment, I call complete guide videos. And most of these things I will kind of explain this. So if you hear me just rattle this off, it's my conditions phrase that I use for these videos, but we're going to break it down how I do in the videos. So first, the safety features, because a lot of these have to do with safety features. I mean, safety features are like a full page.
It's like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. So let's talk about safety features first. And if you have any, drop them down there. Make sure you tag them.
Yes.
And we'll answer those too. But so if there's any that you've been dying to go, I don't understand what this means. I've always wondered this. It's on my window sticker or whatever. Put that question in there, and we'll see if we can answer it. But first one I want to talk about is the pre-collision assist, which now this is actually required by every vehicle. This isn't just a Ford thing and a Ford phrase, but pre-collision assist is trying to avoid that collision. Right, the pre-collision. So it has a Ford collision warning and the brake support. So if it sees that it's happening, if you're coming up behind somebody, they're going slower than you, then it'll actually warn you with the series of lights and the annoying sounds, right, that you need to stop, and preloads the brakes. And even with some situations, will actually brake the vehicle for you. So pre-collision assist is what that is. Now, there's also, for this year, we did see the because that is part of the automatic emergency braking system for the pre-collision assist. So this year we saw an automatic emergency braking oncoming feature this year. And I've had actually a lot of people at Ford that like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, wait a minute, you're the brand manager. You don't know what this is? Nope. I said, my assumption is that if somebody's coming into your lane oncoming, then it does the same thing as it is if you were falling behind somebody, is it's going to warn you. And so I actually Googled it, and I was only able to find one thing on it. So there's even a lot of stuff in Google that doesn't have this. I don't think Ford has it on their training. By the way, Ford, if you're watching this, I really think you need to bring back the eSource Good book. eSource book was a great reference and resource for dealers to be able to find these things like this. And right now they have switched it over to the Ford training or Ford University. You guys can figure out what the abbreviation is on that. But we don't really like it. Anyway, so that there is something that I think they need to bring back. But I did find this automatic emergency braking oncoming is saying that if someone comes over or crosses over into your lane or maybe comes in front of you far enough out that it can stop and start braking the vehicle for you like pre-collision assist does. So instead of just fall behind them.
Is that the pre-collision assist? Does it do something to the steering so that way it's supposed to be evasive?
Evasive steering assist is what you're thinking of.
So do you think that this might have a little bit of that to kind of help?
It's supposed to just
maneuver?
be braking the vehicle.
Okay.
So, and like I've said in some of my videos is if you got someone coming over, they're going at full speed and you're going at full speed, that's going to be a really bad accident. But if one of you is stopped, at least lessens the severity of that accident, I would think.
Yeah.
Or maybe even helps you avoid, because if it starts to break your vehicle and then they're coming, you might be able to turn a little bit to avoid them. But evasive steering assist will do that. So that's one of them that's on here too. Okay. So evasive steering assist is if you can't stop in time and you know that, hey, if I steer around them, I could avoid this accident, then it's supposed to make the steering easier. So it's like it'll turn the steering wheel a lot easier than stiffen it up. Because, on the highway, EPAS, electronic power assist steering, I don't even have that on here. That's going to actually on highway will stiffen it up so that, it doesn't turn. But, in the parking lots, how it's real easy to turn the steering wheel. That's the electronic power assist steering working there. And so this kind of uses that evasive steering assist to change and alter that ease if you come into that accident and you need to turn real severely. So I usually show images on this and I don't have those up, but
I was going to say, all the terminology, they sound so similar. It's easy to get them all confused. And since I stopped editing your videos, it's gotten more confusing. Actually, editing your complete guides helped because then I got to see the videos that I'm adding in as overlay for these features.
Actually, we could actually show these videos because I have these in here. So let's
you got the clips?
I got the clips. So we've talked about pre-collision assist, right? Can I? Here it is. So it's showing that there's a sensor, and if a car is going much slower than you, it won't slow you down to go their speed, but it'll warn you, and there's your warnings. Now that's what it used to look like back in the day. Of course, the screens have been updated since this. This isn't an edge, but it actually will break the vehicle a little bit if you're not paying attention, right? So it warns you. You don't hear all the sounds and everything, but there's that. So yeah, so there's that one, and then we use evasive steering assist, right? Talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let that pull up. This actually will be really going to be kind of irritating to try to do, but here you go. So that one is showing like there's a car in front of you, you're right behind, and there's a car on the shoulder that comes over, and then you can't stop in time, but it'll ease and help you go around them, right, and turn. So that's kind of how that works. And then, yeah, I don't have one. There's also post-impact braking that after you've had that accident that breaks the vehicle. Because there's times where maybe you're unconscious. Maybe, there's been that situation where you're like freaking out, right? And you don't even think about putting it into park.
Yeah.
You just open the door, right? So that would break the vehicle.
Well, you could hit something and
right
move, or like a car. If you hit a car and you're unconscious, that car moves. Well, now you're free to roll forward. It'll stop it.
Yep. And then there's intersection assist, which has been fairly new within the last couple years. That if you're crossing over the intersection, right, and you're turning, then it'll brake. So if you're turning and there's a vehicle coming, right, I see that really into play. Like if there's like someone's turning. One, like let's say they're in your turn lane and you can't see the car because they're in that line of view, and you don't think there's anybody over there. Like you've ever been down at Crawford and in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you can't always
Yeah.
see if there's a car coming. But there you go. So there's that. Yeah. And then there is Bliss with cross traffic alert. Ford likes to call it Bliss, and that's blind spot information system. So that's basically saying if there's someone in your blind spot, right, it's going to help. Now, I do have an older clip of this because now in some of the trucks, it also includes your trailer. So basically, it's going to light
that
up.
Little orange dot.
It's going to put that little light right now that's not lit up. Now it is. There's someone in your blind spot. It puts that light there. Now, if you have your turn signal on, it'll blink at you.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that either. So that kind of.
There you go. Yeah.
See, there it goes. It was blinking. So.
Yeah. Like, don't move over.
Yep. And then also we'll include the coverage of your trailer. If you have a trailer connected, like F-150s and such, we'll have that as well.
That's nice.
And then cross traffic alert. So it uses some of the same sensors. So if you're backing up, see, I have an image of that too.
My favorite sensor on my street.
So back that up. So as you're backing up, it's going to alert you. It's going to light it up and everything, and you'll go, "What's it going off for? I don't see them." And then there they are. They're right there. I mean, the system works pretty good.
Does yours tell you which side it's coming from?
Depending on the vehicle, but it will have little arrows telling me it's coming across.
Because my C-Max tells me from right side or left side.
Some of the screens, the middle screen where you see the backup camera will actually have arrows. So you know.
Mine does not have that. Mine's in like my odometer. Mine's still up there.
Yep. Let's see what else. And there is recently cross traffic braking assist. So if you're backing up and you're not hitting your brakes and you continue to back up, it's going to brake the vehicle. So we've been seeing that more frequently than the last year for that to see that. But and then also backing up, you get the reverse sensors, right? There's also reverse brake assist. So if you're backing up, you don't see that car coming right out of your driveway, that kind of thing. It'll brake the vehicle if there's something right behind you. I've actually had this go off because if I back up too fast in my driveway, which I could do, it's a long driveway, and I'm like, I'm pretty good at that.
Well, it's also
and that wall will set it off.
Yeah. Oh. I was gonna say also you don't get much traffic, so you'll be going down it and not expecting traffic, and then all of a sudden they pop over.
You know how many times, though, I've been going front ways down the drive and I get down to the end and the cars will stop because they don't think you're going to stop. I'm like, I live here. Don't you think that I'm going to stop? Anyway. All right. See what else I got on my list. A lot of safety stuff. SOS post crash alert system. That means that if you're in an accident off the side of the road, that kind of thing, it'll honk the horns, flash the lights. If you're unconscious, so people know that, hey, there's a car over there or whatever. Not sure how it dictates that and knows it's off the road, but I'm assuming it figures that out.
Too much bumping around.
Maybe. I don't know. Off-road tires are used. Advanced track. Now, advanced track is a pretty fancy term, but it's basically, if you go into that curve maybe too fast, maybe it's slick outside, then what it wants to do is it wants to keep you going on your intended path. That's the easiest way I can ever explain this. I learned this from a trainer a long time ago, and they said easiest way to explain that is it's going to use a series of brakes around the vehicle on the right tire to keep you going on your intended path.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can, if you want to come and take a ride with me in my mach-e, I can tell you how that works. Yeah, I'll let you be able to sense how that works, because if I take a curve a little too fast or I accelerate the curve really fast, it'll start going, and then that front brake will catch, and it just like and it keeps me going. I'm like, well, that stopped me just in time. Anyway, so you have that too. All right, now we're gonna get into lane keeping versus lane centering. You know the difference, right? Lane keeping system is basically you can activate and helps you try to keep you in your lane, and that can be activated with or without the cruise control. So has to do with the cruise control, whereas lane centering has to do with the cruise control. So lane keeping system has the lane center or lane aid or the alert. So the alert's going to do is still let you go over the line, but and then whereas the aid system will actually try to keep you in the lines. And I do always use this little graph in a lot of my videos. Let me pause that. And that kind of shows you the zones where those are activated. So the aid system will try to activate earlier and let you not go over the line, whereas the alert system will start vibrating the steering wheel once you've gone over the line. So now, again, this is something that is activated with or without. You can activate it. And a lot of these features, you do have to activate. You can activate and deactivate them, because there's some people like, I don't think I like the evasive steering assist, or I don't like this or that. So you turn it off. That's what's great about these. There's also with that the driver alert feature. So if you have that activated, I actually deactivate this online. So driver alert is if you take your hands off the steering wheel too often, it'll start alerting you and even telling you to pull over and get coffee. So I deactivate this because I do take my hands off the steering wheel. I let the lane centering work itself. I let lane centering do its thing. There's a reason it's on there. And then there's also, in the last couple of years, road edge detection, and now they're calling it road edge warning. And again, there's nothing really out there on this, but what that's really doing is if you get some of those edge of those roads are real close, right over the lines, and so it'll actually detect if you get close to that. The Expedition did this. Ours did.
Really?
Yeah, one time it just all of a sudden was starting to do something. Like, what is
that? Would
that?
be nice on my way
different.
to and from Emporia.
Right? The edge of those roads on some of those county roads, right? So anyway, you have that. So, all right. Hill start assist and hill descent control. So hill start assist allows you, if you're on a hill, to get started. So what it's going to do is not allow that vehicle to drift back like a manual transmission would, or whatever, right? So it allows it, kind of holds the brake, and so you can transition over to the gas. So a lot of vehicles have this anymore. And then you also have hill descent control. So you'll see hill descent control on a lot of like 4x4 vehicles, like FX4 package, stuff like that. And that allows you to be able to use increments of every half a mile to be able to use. You learn this at Off-Rodeo.
Yes.
Bronco Off-Rodeo teaches you this. So you have Bronco Off-Rodeo, they have trail control, which is similar. But the hill descent control will actually let you go below 1 mile an hour, whereas the trail turn or trail control starts at 1, I believe. So that's where that's a little bit different. And then you have the latch system. You know what that is?
Yes.
Lower anchors and tethers for children. So that's your car seats harnesses, right? Those are those spots in the seats, in the middle seats, that you can harness those car seats down in instead of using the shoulder harnesses to put them in. So that's called latch. So that's where that's used. Don't have any images of that. Adaptive cruise control. We start talking about cruise control, but adaptive cruise. A lot of people like adaptive cruise. That's Ford's phrase of that. I don't know what other car companies call it. I think a lot of them are using that adaptive cruise. And that is going to allow you to be able to set that cruise, and it keeps you from the vehicle in front of you. So you don't have to use your brake near as much. So it'll slow you down to go the speed of the vehicle in front of you. Why am I not using my videos here? Why don't you tell me to do that?
You're the teacher.
So adaptive cruise. See, it looks like the pre-collision assist in a sense. It's almost the same. That's the same video, but it'll basically slow you down to go the speed of that vehicle. If you pass them, then it'll resume back up to your speed. So that's kind of how that works. And also along with that, you get stop and go. So actually in that rush hour traffic will bring you to complete stop and go again. Now, if some situations, it'll start going and it's not going. So you got to hit your resume button and it'll start you going again. In some of those situations, if you come to complete stop long enough. And then lane centering, that's the one that a lot of people like. So these all work together as part of adaptive cruise. So you have the stop and go, you have the adaptive cruise, and you have the lane centering. They all work together with adaptive cruise control. So you'll see it kind of helps keep you in the center of your lane, and it works really well. In a lot of vehicles, you can see this activated on your dash. Mine has a circle, more of a like 180-degree blue circle around the vehicle. You know it's activated right there. So that works really well. So which leads into, of course, and then another part of that too is your predictive speed assist is what they're calling it now. They used to call this speed sign recognition. So speed sign recognition saw the speed signs and would adjust, so you could say that tolerance of up and above or below the speed limit, and it would adjust your speed when it saw a new speed limit sign. That's kind of nice. Now they're calling it predictive speed assist because they're also incorporating in that when you go into curves and it knows it can't handle the speed you're at in that curve, it actually slow you down. So I've seen this happen with the mach-e and such. And so that's why they changed the name to predictive speed assist, because it incorporates both of those technologies.
That's right, because you want to keep your speed and it slows you,
I'm like, why is it slowing me down? What
are you
It
doing?
doesn't think I can handle that. I'm like, oh, this is a mach-e rally. What do you mean it can't handle it? Watch, it'll even use adaptive or the advanced track. All right, the next one is, of course, it advances into Blue Cruise at that point. That's your hands-free driving. That's where it'll basically, it's using the technology from adaptive cruise, and then the driver state detection part of that to know that you're watching. So to be honest, Blue Cruise is using the adaptive cruise. And the only reason that they say it can work is because they can make sure that you're paying attention. Otherwise, it's the same thing as adaptive cruise. And so you have that driver state detection. Now, here's a little thing I've told some people in the past is that if you have Blue Cruise, which you get a trial of, and you decide to let it go away, that driver state detection stays there, even though it's not part of adaptive cruise.
Right.
Which I hate. So anyway, but that's all right. I mean, and then so you have that. Now, the newest part of Blue Cruise allows you to switch lanes just by using your turn signal. So before on the Blue Cruise, you had to take your hands on the steering wheel, switch lanes, and then turn and switch your lanes for you, and then it would reactivate the Blue Cruise again. And Ford's always finding ways of why did you deactivate the Blue Cruise, or why did it deactivate? And they're trying to make better, trying to do a better job of allowing you to go hands-free longer. And so one of them was changing lanes. The other was going into the curves. Sometimes they would tell you to take control over it. I don't know if you remember that. Some of the on my Lightning did that. And now it's a lot better in that, because I've used the mach-e that I have has the 1.2 version, and it works really well. And then now they're having other versions, because what are some things Sarah knows? There's some situations where it doesn't work. Yes. When the sun is hitting the sensor or whatever, I think it's washing my face out, and so it can't see whether or not I'm watching the road. So I think it deactivates it. Rain does it too. So now the newest version 1.4 is supposed to be better with those conditions. So I don't have one with it. So I told him, I said, if you're going to do a media thing and show media how this works, I'd love to come. But anyway, so you have that as well. So that's all safety. We just dipped our toes into this, because we still have performance and everything else.
On an older vehicle like my 17, do you know what sensor it is, or what it was called, where you would come up to like a drive-through or something and it would just beep insistently, and then you have a button with a P and 2 lines, and you push that and it turns the sensor off?
That's your front parking, or no, that's your I think that's your front parking sensor.
I think, okay. Because in case anyone has a older Ford and they don't like that sound because it is insistent in the drive-through, or any of those situations where you're coming up beside a building or something, there's a way to turn it off.
So yours has got that park assist, because you have sensors on the sides too.
Yes.
So it's activating for that. So that P with those lines, I think, is where it wants to try to help parallel or perpendicular park your vehicle.
I don't know, because I just turn it off and my sensor warning turns off.
Well, that's because, it probably back then they worked those together into one thing.
Well, if anyone's having trouble where they go through the drive-through and just blaring alarm, hit the P with the 2 little vertical lines going down, turns it right off.
All right, before we bore everybody heading to the performance stuff, is there anything there that anybody had questions on, or anything that they have as part of like maybe some safety or whatever questions we have so far? Let's post those in there.
Blue Cruise won't work above 80.
Correct. Blue Cruise doesn't work above 80. It'll work at 80. I've tested that out. So yes, you're correct. It does not work above 80, which is why some people around here will not use it.
Because that's because it knows you're in a 30.
Which, if you're in a state like they put Wyoming in there, Utah is also 80 mile an hour. So now I'm like, I gotta go to the speed limit because I want to use Blue Cruise.
Well, now it's like, yeah, I discovered that in Wyoming, trying to scream along with an 80-mile-per-hour speed.
Yep. Anyway, you know what I don't like is, okay, if you have Blue Cruise and it's activated right, and let's say you have it, like the situation like that. Now, if you go faster, probably will then still do adaptive cruise. But I'd love to be able to shut Blue Cruise off and keep adaptive cruise. And I don't think in lane centering, and I think they go hand in hand. I think it's Blue Cruise with lane centering, and so I think they work together.
Yeah.
So, but like mine, when I lost Blue Cruise because I didn't sign up for the subscription, I still got the adaptive cruise with lane centering. So
Richview wants to know where you can drive 80.
Utah, Wyoming, states where there's not anybody coming. Nevada, probably. There's long stretches of nobody.
Western Kansas. Not technically, but
Well, 75. I go 80.
Most Kansans do.
Most Kansans go 80 and a 75.
I mean, they say go the speed of traffic. I'm just going the speed of the traffic. You know, the two semis on the road.
Anyway.
Above anywhere you don't get caught.
All right. Let's move on. Okay. How about all-wheel drive versus 4x4? I know some people have asked that before of like, how's that different? So most of all your Ford all-wheel drives will use sensors and stuff to monitor your road conditions and send power to the wheels that it needs to improve handling. So a lot of times if it's an all-wheel drive and it's primarily front-wheel drive, usually, then it'll be front-wheel drive most of the time and then engage the all-wheel drive when it needs to in certain situations. Now, 4x4s, you have to manually activate and go into 4 high, 4 low, whatever. So that's a difference in those. Now, you do have some vehicles that have an advanced all-wheel drive system, like in your Bronco Sport Badlands, your Maverick Tremor, and that system there is a dual clutch rear drive unit. RDU is what we like to call it, where it really, with a 4-wheel drive lock, that really will drive the traction to where it needs to. Not only just from front to back like you would see in an all-wheel drive version, but even from side to side and even to the wheel that it needs to in the back. Which is why we have people that are doing rallycross in a Maverick Tremor for that reason, because that advanced 4-wheel drive system is just that good. And I can tell you it does really well. So paddle shifters, people know what that is? That's where you're basically able to, it's an automatic transmission, but if you want to be able to shift it like a manual transmission, you can put it in a manual mode and use paddle shifters on the steering wheel to go plus and minus to shift it up and down through the gears. A lot of times you'll see a select shift, it'll be on the console or on the shifter, but paddle shifters can be up there. So like I said, I went through some of the order guides and just started writing down things. How about Pro Trailer Backup Assist and Hitch Assist? So we're seeing that on the Maverick Lariat, right? It's coming out. Job 2 should be arriving in dealers. Most people are going to start getting those pretty soon. So the Pro Trailer Backup Assist, there's that dial. So that's been out for a while now. You use the dial on the dash to basically just steer that. Actually, I think I have an image of that. Trailer Backup Assist right here.
Real quick. Steve, you had a question. I see you're headed out. Will our dealership do Z plan on expedition orders?
Well, our dealer. It's up to your dealer, I guess.
Our dealer. He wants to purchase with us.
Oh, we do all plan pricing. We honor all plan pricing.
So, Steve, I saw that you were headed to bed. Wanted to answer your question real quick. Yep. We do all plan pricing.
Yep. All right. So here is the Pro Trailer Backup Assist uses that dial. As you can see right there, you turn the dial and basically you're using the camera to steer the trailer. You're not even controlling the steering wheel. You're letting go of the steering wheel and using that dial to much. That's not the image that I wanted. I have some others. But
that
anyway,
looks really cool.
Yes. So now the hitch is
not as cool as getting into a Lightning and having it do it by itself.
So the hitch assist is where you actually are backing up to the trailer. So basically use that same dial where it said on right there. You would actually press that and hold it. So you press it and ask, are you hooked up to trailer? And you say no, and then it knows that you want to back up to a trailer. So then it basically, you press it and it backs you up right to the trailer and then stops you. So that works really well. And I've actually done a video on that. You can find
We
that.
were actually at, was it New York?
I think it was New York.
Yeah, New York.
Right. Yeah, because we did that and we did the Mustang Drive.
Yeah. So we got to get in a Lightning and have it videoed for us.
Yep. So that hitch assist as well. So those are two using that same dial. Trailer sway control, that's helping you with control your trailer. So if your trailer starts to sway, the trailer sway control helps from that trailer swaying back and forth. Most vehicles, almost every Ford vehicle at this point that has a hitch will have trailer sway control, even your Maverick. So it kind of helps with that. You do have the headlights. So a lot of times in my videos, I'll talk about reflector versus projector headlights.
Yes.
So basically, they're both LEDs. The difference is where the LEDs are positioned. So in a reflector, the inside of your headlights are like a chrome kind of finish to it, a reflective, and so they're going to basically, the light will be pointed towards the vehicle, and they'll bounce off of that, surround towards you. So it won't be as bright as a projector, which basically turns that light around and it's just projecting straight out. So there you go. And then dynamic bending headlights. You know what that is? See, I'm quizzing her.
Those are the ones that move as you turn the steering wheel.
There you go. Lights up your intended path. That's how I like to say. So that you'll see that usually a lot of your projectors will have dynamic bending.
You know what that doesn't help with? Trying to bring a vehicle into the building forwards and trying to get it straight on.
Because it turns.
Because it turns with your steering wheel.
Yep. All right. Now here's a couple that that we see on some vehicles: continuously controlled dampening suspension. So actually, I wanted to make sure, because I've explained this in the past, and I'm like, I'm gonna look this up just to make sure I'm right. But so here is what I read. It says it's designed to improve handling and ride quality by adjusting the shocks to the road conditions. So you usually see this on vehicles that have 22-inch wheels. A lot of times they'll have CCD is what we call it. And it will actually see and read the road in front of you. If there's potholes, imperfections in the road, it'll like try to adjust the tension of the suspension, so that if there is one, then it's going to come down a little bit easier. So it goes down and comes right back up and glide right over that. Then you have this jarring, which another reason why independent suspension is so important. Because if you have one wheel hit a pothole and one doesn't, if you have an independent suspension, then that's going to go down and leave the car going and then come back up. Whereas if you don't have an independent suspension, your car is going to do this instead, which is why the Bronco is better than a Jeep. Just saying. All right. McArthur dampening suspension, which you see this on Mustangs or mach-e rallies. I have this, and this is a suspension system that uses magnetically controlled dampers to adjust to the road conditions and provide a smoother ride. And what's great about this is that on the Mustang, not necessarily the mach-e, but the Mustang, you can actually say what kind of ride you want. If you want a more very sporty ride or whatever, it'll adjust by the different liquid that's inside of that.
I want a ride that makes it feel like it's a 96.
So the McArthur dampers are filled with a fluid containing iron particles and synthetic oil. When exposed to a magnetic field, the iron particles line up, making the fluid denser and stiffer. The system monitors road conditions and adjusts the dampers in response. So that's kind of I just read that off. You guys could tell that. But anyway, so there's that. All right. Got a couple more performance items here. Have to do with off-roading. Trail control. You got this?
Not in like
control.
Control.
Control's a keyword.
Yes, it controls your speed on the trail so that you can go at consistent speed up inclines or wherever you're at.
Correct. It's like cruise control for the trail. So it'll let you set it anywhere from 1 to 19 miles an hour, maybe 20.
See, I don't have technical terminology down or explanations, but I have
We're doing Ford 101 right here. All right. How about trail one pedal drive?
That
did we try that one out when we were there?
No, we didn't. But that's basically where
Melissa had us try it when we were
right. So basically, you're
you You're using that gas pedal as a
Yes,
brake,
I couldn't
basically.
remember.
So it's just like it is on the
Gas pedal.
mach-e, but it's on the
Yes.
trail.
Right. I couldn't get gas pedal out of my mouth.
Accelerator.
The accelerator.
It's an accelerator in an electric
Take your
vehicle.
foot off and it brakes. Put your foot on and it goes.
Which, to be honest, okay, I love one pedal drive in an EV.
I don't want it
I
on a
hate
trail.
it, and I do not like using it on that. Now, on your Broncos, you're only going to find that in your 2.7 liter engines. You will not see that in a 2.3 liter. So just so you're aware of that.
Real quick, Doug Mead. Predictive speed is basically your sign recognition.
And going into curves.
Right. So he has only adaptive cruise and speed sign recognition. They renamed speed sign recognition to predictive speed and added a slight difference.
So yours, you may not, it'll probably adjust yours for your speed signs, but it may not adjust for curves. So that's the difference. They did upgrade that. When they went to upgraded the systems to that, they changed the name of it.
Which makes sense. It's different. It has something added to it.
For when this first came out on Escape and everything, I thought they lost speed sign recognition because I saw speeds because actually for a while they actually had both in there. They had speed sign recognition and predictive speed assist, both terms in there, and then I didn't see speed sign recognition. I'm like, so they lost that feature? And the brand manager for Escape said, no, we just lumped it into the predictive speed assist. I said, gotcha. All right, the last one for performance is trail turn assist. I don't think we did this when we went to the half day.
We have not used it.
A lot of people call it's the donut mode, but I don't use it much, and there's a reason for that. But trail turn assist will actually lock the brake on a wheel, so you can turn sharper on the trail. So it helps you, instead of having to back up and turn to get a tight turn, you can use trail turn assist, activate it, and hit your accelerator a little bit more. And what it'll do is it'll grip as you start turning. It knows what way you want to go, and then it grips that tire, so you kind of go around it. So it holds the brake. We've seen a lot of people breaking this feature on their vehicles. And I mean, talking to some people out on the trail that are part of Tread Lightly, that would typically, when you do that, it'll actually dig into the dirt and it actually disturbs the dirt a little bit more.
I was going to say that. Sounds like if your one wheel is locked up and you're churning, wouldn't that wheel churn up and kind of create a little divot where, Yeah,
that is one of the reasons I don't use it, is because there's somebody that I value in the off-road community and their opinions and such, and they don't actually like teaching people it. But anyway, it's part of the technology that's in those. There are certain situations, but if it's going to tear up the trail, I'm not going to use it. So I don't use it, but it's good in snowy parking lots. But I've used it once, just to test it, but haven't used it since. All right, now I'm going to get into exterior features if you're okay there. But all right, exterior features: security approach lamps. If you guys know what that means, puddle lamps, right? So that's those lights underneath the mirrors that light up the ground beside the vehicle. When you approach it, you unlock the vehicle, whatever. That's called your security approach lamps, or they used to call them puddle lamps in some vehicles. Speaking of lighting, zone lighting. So that lights up, that uses the lights underneath those mirrors, your front headlights, the backup lights in the back, the cargo light in the back, to basically light up around you. You have 4 zones around the vehicle, and you can activate those, which is pretty cool. So, and then rain sensing wipers. So that is, it allows you, vehicles that have rain sensing wipers, they'll wipe for you, and you don't have to activate them or change them. And so what it'll do is, if you have this activated in your lighting, in your wiper section, and you have any of the intermittents turned on, then automatically, when it starts to rain, it'll start wiping. And the faster it rains, the harder it wipes. So that is something that we had in our expedition. In the 18 expedition, we went to the 22. We don't have it. And so, which I don't think your mom liked for a while, and then she got used to it, and then she missed it. So, one of those things. Intelligent access. So when you're getting in the vehicle, right? Key fob, intelligent access. Just put your hands on the door handle, unlocks it. Just press the ridges on the outside or a little knob and it locks it up. So that allows you to get in without getting the key fob in your pocket. So Ford calls it intelligent access. Some of them might call it something else. It goes all hand in hand usually with push button start. So as well. So, and then privacy glass. I put this in there. Everybody knows what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
But privacy glass is that darker glass on the back windows and the back quarter windows, usually of your SUVs. So it's basically tinted glass, but it comes from the factory that way, right? So they call that privacy glass. So
try and keep people from breaking into your car because they see things.
It's darker. Also, it helps with temperature too, you know, and it helps, with sun coming in if people want to read or whatever in the back seats and such. On the interior, productivity screen. So Ford likes to call it productivity screen. Sometimes they'll call it the instrument screen, but it gets a little confusing because Ford calls it instrument screen, the center stack screen. So the productivity screen, I like to tell people it's what you see through the steering wheel. It's the productivity of your vehicle. So it's usually that's where you get your fuel economy. You get your all the different stuff. Your light up, right? Your vehicle lights up if there's any warnings or whatever. That's through the productivity screen. All right, heads up display. Kind of a higher up trim level, usually a feature that lights up and puts some of that information right on the screen, or it looks like it's on the windshield. It reflects off the windshield. And so it allows you to be able to see it. So you don't have to look down to see things like your speed or your directions, your navigation. It lights up there. Not a lot of vehicles have it. It's usually your upper model vehicles that have that, but that's what that does. All right, talking about seating for a second. ActiveX. A lot of people will say, well, what is ActiveX? Is it leather? What is it? And technically, Ford doesn't define it as leather, genuine leather, because leather implies that it's, cowhide or whatever, horsehide. It's a genuine leather. ActiveX is not. It's an active wear type of material. Some people like to say it's vinyl, and I will argue them to the ends of the earth. I don't feel like it's vinyl at all. Trust me, get into an XL with vinyl seats and then get into an ActiveX. It is different. So Ford will actually say it's kind of a more durable wear, and for one thing, it's going to clean a lot better. Stains, if you have a leather seat and you spill, let's say a red pop on your seat, then good luck, because it absorbs into those pores of that leather and you won't be able to get it out. Maybe get a leather cleaner or something like that. But ActiveX, that will wipe. So that's much more durable. And we like our ActiveX seats. You also see heated seats. That's not new. That's not anything big. But also there's ventilated seats. So ventilated seats, a lot of dealers will say it's got cooled seats. And technically there's a difference. And the reason the terminology is different is ventilated seats means that it's actually pulling the air through the seat to cool it off instead of actually cooling the seat like a heated seat does. So there's a little bit difference in that. So a cooled seat will probably cool the seat a lot cooler than ventilated will, but ventilated is going to be quieter and you won't have condensation that sits under the seat. So that's how that's different. And then multi-contoured seats with active motion. So I usually see those in conjunction together, but a multi-contoured seat actually isn't the massaging seat. That's part of the active motion. But a lot of times when you see multi-contour, it does mean usually massaging seat feature, but it will give you multiple contours in the back, like your lumbar. It'll allow that lumbar to go to not just be in one spot, but actually be able to move up and down, usually when you see multi-contoured. So, and then last one on the inside is your upfitter switches. So a lot of your 4x4s will have those switches up here and allow you up there, and it allows you to be able to put different lights or whatever, hook them up and be able to turn them on easily by just flipping those switches instead of having them attached to the dash somewhere up down below. So a lot of them don't have those wires run right under the dash, so it's real easy to plug those in if you want to do those. So I'm sure I included that, but I do have some EV terms in here. We talked about one pedal drive. There is EV one pedal drive that basically you're not braking the vehicle. You just, as you let go of the accelerator pedal, it's going to brake the vehicle. Here's one, phone as a key. That allows you to be able to not have to carry your key around, but use your phone to unlock the vehicle and get in and start it. I'm not a huge fan of this, and I'll tell you my opinion on this. But phone is the key is that you basically use a FordPass app to program your phone to the key. Now, I've had this happen to my Lightning, where you do get a backup code to get in, so you have keypad entry. Some of the vehicles have it now, some don't. But if for some reason the phone's key isn't connecting and working, then you can use a keypad to get in your vehicle, and then when you get in, you can start it and ask for the code. So then you put your code in.
Oh,
Well, the problem I had with my Lightning is I forgot my code. And then one day I couldn't start it. So I sat there. I was like, okay, well, hopefully the phone will activate. So I had to try it a couple times, and it finally did connect, and it activated, and I was able to start the vehicle. But the other thing is those are a lot easier to hack.
Yeah.
Right. So I stopped using phone as a key. I have not initiated on my Mach-E, and I won't probably ever use phone as a key, just because it's that security there. So same reason why I don't have my phone, like right now, my phone does not have Wi-Fi turned on or Bluetooth turned on when I'm in public, because people can hack into your phone via those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why I don't do that. So anyway, okay, regenerative braking. We hear that on EVs a lot. So and on hybrids, right? So regenerative braking, as you're braking the vehicle, it's using those brakes to pull to take that electricity that it's absorbing and moving in over to the battery. So regenerative braking, the better you do at regenerative braking on your hybrids and your electric vehicles, the better range you're going to get, basically. And then lastly is vapor injection heat pump. So I know the benefit of it, and I had to look this up because I knew the benefit of it, but I wasn't sure exactly how it worked. And so it says it's an in-vehicle refrigerant system designed to help improve heat transfer and reduce power consumption. But what's great about this is heat transfer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a cold, it helps to warm it up, right? But also in the summertime, it helps to cool it. Again, heat transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So if the batteries are they're hot, then it helps cool them off as well. So you use less power and get better range. So whether it be, a lot of people think of that heat pump as something that helps in the wintertime to get you better range, but also in the summertime where you would get less range because it's so hot, it'll help with that as well. So
yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
All right.
And class dismissed. Any questions?
Yes. Sport mode. What does it do?
So we have the drive modes, right? So all the different drive modes are initiated. Basically, it changes how the vehicle will shift, the on and off of the traction control, how the throttle response is, and all those things in different modes. The sport mode will downshift and keep it on that lower gear. It'll hold that gear longer, so that when you're ready to jump on it and go, it's already in that lower gear, so you can just take off. So that's what sport mode will usually do.
I put as it makes you jump.
So
all
different things. It's a slippery mode. The reason it's so important, like in when it's raining or snowing, to put it in slippery mode is because it will change how it will shift. And so, like, normally your vehicle might just have a pretty good amount of torque when you accelerate. So it'll change how the accelerator is affected, and it'll actually basically make it to where it doesn't make the wheels spin as quickly when you're in slippery mode, so that you actually pull away from that stop more efficiently than just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
So every mode does different things on that. And I know, especially in the off-road, the GOAT modes for the Bronco, they look to different people that were really good at how their throttle response was and different things to make the different drive modes. So they looked and had engineers and different people that are out there, and drivers, automotive drivers and motorsports drivers, to help them come up with those drive modes.
Now, will slippery mode help with traction control?
Slippery mode typically will still have the traction control activated.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, here, Mike, I have your question up here right now. Will Ford ever consider putting a removable top on Bronco Sport?
Removable? Oh, on Bronco Sport?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Not sure. It'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Ford Enthusiast has a good one. What is Copilot 360?
So when Ford coined that phrase Copilot 360, it wasn't necessarily that you could see completely around the vehicle. It was to help protect around. It was more of a safety a suite of safety features. So technically, your Ford Copilot suite of features is what we used to call it back in the day. Was your rear view camera. It was auto high beams. It was the pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking. I think in some situations post-collision braking. Some vehicles it's reverse sensing. So it's basically a way to protect you, in that situation. Not necessarily the original Copilot 360 suite of features didn't include your blind spot information system, your bliss with cross traffic alert. And so that's why on some vehicles you see a Copilot 360, you see a Copilot 360 assist, you see an assist plus, you see a 2.0. 2.0 typically usually will be your 360 camera that's added to it. So Copilot 360 originally back in the day it's just basically a suite of features to protect the pilot. So it's a co-pilot, right? To help. Basically, it's saying that that the system is watching for you around the vehicle since you're paying attention to the front.
Yes.
So it's saying there's sensors, there's auto high beams, there's a rear view camera, and all these things that help protecting you and keeping you going with the automatic emergency braking and bliss and all this other stuff. But the
it's
original,
really an umbrella term to go over a bunch of different features.
Yes.
Within it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they really it's more
of a package.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is there's so many different ones they do now because here's the big one on
Copilot 360, Copilot 360 Assist, Copilot 360 Assist Plus, like.
Mm-hmm. So in the Maverick, they had a Copilot 360, right, that was in there, and they had a Copilot 360 package, which got you the bliss cross traffic alert, basically just those two, lane centering and lane keeping system. Sorry, that's also in there. So you got those as part of that package, but then they made a Copilot 360 Assist Plus package, and that Plus package got you the adaptive cruise control. Well, now this year they've been throwing in that phrase. They didn't add the plus there, but they still confused people because they had a Copilot 360 Assist package. And that got you the features before the bliss. That's not the cross the Copilot 360 package. And I told them, I'm like, you got to get rid of that because that is confusing so many people. They think they have an XLT or even an XL with adaptive cruise because it says assist. So there's my rant. So you gotta get rid of some of these things and figure that out. But
how many rants are we at now, guys? Is that 2, 3?
Just a couple.
All right. So this is for that speed sign recognition. Doug turned it off, assuming that it would remove the speed sign icon in the instrument cluster screen. I'm pretty sure that you can change your screen to not have that. It's a screen option.
I don't know. I don't think you can.
I don't know. I'd have to go out and
that
look
is
at
so
it.
You know what speed zone you're in, right?
Right.
That's the main purpose.
But he turned off speed sign recognition in hopes that it would remove it from the screen.
No, I think all that does is it won't adjust your speed, won't adjust the cruise control based on the speed limit. That's all that's going to do.
But if you want to email me, I'll go out and see if we have something with it on it that I can go test it.
It might, but I don't think it will shut that off.
So, all right. So they were saying that the trail turn assist or trail turn control, they wouldn't even show it at Moab.
Depends on your trainer. So
and if you think about it, Moab, they're on public land.
Yeah.
Not their land.
You mean the trail turn assist?
Yeah.
Now, trail turn assist, you're right, because Melissa, they did not do trail turn assist in Moab.
Well, and I could also see them not wanting to do it on their own trails at Bronco Off-Road. Because if they're all doing it at the same spot, that one spot's going to get turned up.
Some of the locations, like Texas, actually has a little OBX or they have a little, what do they call it? They have a spot basically where they show you how all the different technologies work, right? They show the sway bar disconnect and how that works. They have basically a little course in Texas. Moab, they don't have that. So I think that's one of the reasons too that they don't do the trail turn assist because they have a spot in Texas. So we're doing the half day with him. And usually when you do a half day, you know this, they usually don't go through everything at the beginning. They just get you on the trail and then they talk about the stuff as you're on the trail, right?
Yeah.
So typically we won't use that. But but there are quite a few people that I think too the reason maybe partly in Moab, at least I had Brian and Melissa, is they're not a huge fan of that technology.
Yeah. What is the difference between a blue window sticker and a green one?
Okay, so blue window sticker is a stock and green is a retail order. So that means it was ordered a special order. So Al had it on there.
Yeah, retail's a special order for a customer. Customer specifically ordered it.
Yep.
Okay, so here's one. The 2.7 has timing belt submerged in oil. The alternator is at the bottom of the motor, so if you cross a river, your alternator is underwater. The 2.3 has a timing chain, and alternator is at the top of the engine. That's why a lot of people pick 2.3 over 2.7.
Yes, correct. That is why Everglades is only available in the 2.3 liter, not the 2.7, was that they wanted to tout a certain amount of water fording it could do. And to be able to do that, you couldn't get the 2.7 to be able to say that. So that's why they capped it.
Yeah.
So what I really would have liked to see is then have two different ones of water fording based on what engine you have. But yes, that is why a lot of people said, oh, they wish they had the Everglades in the 2.7. And it's like, there's a purpose behind that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
I have a 2.3. It's enough. I pull a trailer with it. I mean, not 3,500 pounds. It's 2,000 pounds still. It doesn't even feel like it's back there. I mean, I don't know. I think the 2.3 is a very adequate engine. They've had it in the Ranger for how many years now without a 2.7, without any issues. Throw in a Pro Pack on it or a Pro Cal. Throw that on there if you want. I have a Roush cold air intake, and I think that gives me a big boost.
Yeah.
I don't know how much for sure, but I put that thing in sport mode, and I don't feel like I'm losing. I'm not losing anything.
You know what a really good thumbnail or a really good title for this would have been? What is Ford talking about?
There you go.
All right. So now we don't have any
Hold
more.
on. I got one even better. Some of you guys back in the day would know this. What you talking about, Willis? You know? Different strokes. What you talking about, Ford? Anyway.
All right. That's all the ones I have.
We end right there.
On Ford Speak for now. Let's move over to general Q&A.
Uh-huh.
If you have more questions or about terminology, drop them in as we go. All right. So Jim Danny would like to know, can you order a new Mustang and how long does it usually take?
Yes, you can order Mustang. I mean,
it depends on the dealer's allocations.
There was only 600 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, really. I mean, so there's really not that many. But yeah, so it really shouldn't, again, like you said, depends on the dealer, how many allocations they get. For us, I mean, we're turning down Mustang, allocations because we don't have the orders and we don't need a bunch of stock sitting here not being sold.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't, I mean, you should be able to order a Mustang from, dealer, find out, hey, what do you usually get for allocations, and that kind of stuff, how many orders they have. Hopefully they're willing to get that information for you. And then as long as it's within that, you shouldn't take too long to get one.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times on any of these vehicles, though, you can get them scheduled quick depending on when you order. So like if you order in the middle of a month, it's not always sometimes the best time. You might have to wait until the start of the next month. Yeah. Whereas if you order like between now and maybe the first week of March, then you could get scheduled the second week. So it's going to look like you get scheduled really fast because they schedule the most of the month that first scheduling week, which is always the second week of the month, second full week of the month, typically somewhere around there. So like for March, I would probably say the 13th is probably the first day for May's production dates for using March's allocations. So if you were to order now, right? I mean, dealers out of allocations for this month, you probably wouldn't get scheduled. Probably wouldn't get scheduled next week because of the same thing. But then the next week they'd have new allocations. That's when you'd probably see it get scheduled. So, it might take a couple weeks. But then if you order right after they had just scheduled, let's say they use all their allocations on the 13th, and then if you ordered on the 17th, you might have to wait almost a month. So there's a lot of that going on that people don't realize and why something took longer than they thought it would. So.
Yeah. All right. Any update on the Bronco recall with the shocks?
No, I haven't heard any update for that. Have not.
All right. I have a Ranger Raptor order with you. I ordered around mid-November. How are you guys feeling in terms of that being fulfilled?
Okay, so we have, I don't know if you have seen, but a couple weeks ago, I did talk about this. We were not getting a lot of allocations like we were told we were going to get. We were told that, oh, we're going to be able to give you all kinds of allocations because you did really well on Ranger Raptors and you won them. There's a lot of dealers that don't want them and such. And so you're going to get a lot of allocations. Well, the first couple months, we were only getting like one or two. And we're like, well, what's the deal? We were expecting like 3, 4, 5 a month. And we found out last week or last month that that's because there were some dealers that didn't get the allocations that were due to them that they were supposed to get last year. So they had to fulfill those first. So because of that, we were only getting like one a month. But next month, or here in a couple of weeks, they told us that they'd be able to start fulfilling those orders in big numbers, is what they said. Good. So I think they said maybe a minimum of like 5 a month. So good. Next month we could start going and rocking and rolling on those. But yeah, we were really feeling really bad for people because we were taking, those orders, and we told them, and they told us, go ahead and take the orders. We'll get you the allocations. And we're like, are you sure? Because we don't want to do that and then have all these people, upset. And then so that we found out what the situation was there. So we should see some big number of allocations for Ranger Raptor starting next month, which we should find something out in the next week or so about how many of those will be. But we should start moving those around. And a lot of that's not necessarily when you ordered, but what configuration you have. So sometimes, there's not a lot of different configurations for the Ranger Raptor. Usually it's the wheel and the graphics. That's the two different things. So sometimes you'll say, hey, this wheel is a constraint or whatever. So having the other wheel will help or whatever. But
yep. Are the new 25 Lariat Maverick hybrids have the natural aspirated engine?
Well, it'll be a combination of the hybrid motor and the 2.5 liter, right? Gas engine. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination, right? So I don't know really how to answer that because I don't know that. I'm not that up on that kind of stuff, some of that technology and how that works. But it's basically the same as what it was in 24. I don't think they changed that any. Okay. If that helps answer.
Well,
that.
Is there a difference on some of the engines for like California when it comes to like EcoBoost?
So job 3, they are adding a gas filter to those carb states.
Okay.
But not until this summer.
Okay.
This summer, starting with this summer's production. But that wouldn't have to do with the hybrid. That's only EcoBoost motors. So I think it's all about fuel economy or something.
All right. Any news on when the Lightning is going to get NACS?
Okay, so a lot of people want that as the port. As the plug-in, the NAS plug-in, right? I don't know because Ford said that they were going to go to that by 25, and they're not. I guess here's my take on that, and the reason why it doesn't bother me either way, and that is you're going to need an adapter regardless. In my opinion, there's not enough chargers. I mean, Tesla's the only one that has the NAS right now, right? Until the others switch over to NAS, it really doesn't. You're going to need I feel like you need an adapter. When we go to Kansas City, I can stop at a Tesla or I can stop at a CCS, Electrified America, wherever, and I can be able to plug as long as I have an adapter. So, let's say I'm traveling and I'm like, and it's a NAS port. When I go to, let's say we end up stopping in Topeka. Mm-hmm. Okay, there wasn't a Tesla there. We needed the CCS. So, if we had a NAS, we would need an adapter for it. So, either way, I feel like you need an adapter if you want to. Depends on where you live. If you're only around, you're going to just charge at Teslas. I mean, that's one thing. But when they do that, hopefully they move the port as well. So, and I wouldn't mind seeing both. I mean, if they could figure it out to have both on there would be great. Moving the NAS one closer, right? Because we can't.
Yes, it's hard to get up to one of those chargers.
Yeah, you can't be. Well, it needs to be on the same location almost as the others. Now, I think Ford probably doesn't want to put it on the back end. like Tesla does.
Right.
I think Tesla's is in a bad location, but I think eventually too we'll see the Teslas get longer cords too. They'll probably replace those cords to make them a little bit longer.
Hopefully.
But did you see somebody? I saw somebody showed a picture of their Rivian, and they because Rivians are really they're made to go off road, and so they pulled up through the grass, backslide the charger, so they didn't take up a spot. Then so instead of taking up 2 spots, they just pulled up behind
Let's
it,
just go behind.
plugged in. I'm like, okay, that's a way around it.
That sure is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So they said non-turbo is the same as normally aspirated is non-turbo.
Okay, that's what. All right. Yes. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. Yes, you're right. Like 5.0 liter is natural aspirated, right, on the F-150.
Right.
And then it's a turbo. So I think the 2.5 is naturally aspirated then, because it's not turbo. Now the EcoBoost is a turbo, right? But not. I don't think some of you guys out there can probably answer that. Mabson would know if he's still in here. All right. What else we got?
Ford enthusiast said he was at a Ford dealership on Sunday test driving a Bronco, and they wore his Bronco hoodie that he bought off of our site that says "I can't work today. I have bronchitis." Hat or hoodie, and I can't work. Okay, so he had the Bronco hoodie and the hat with the "I have bronchitis" hat, and the salesperson said, "I like that. Where'd you get it?"
See, I had somebody bought some merch yesterday. Anyway,
maybe that was it.
I don't know.
All right.
Did I have it in a hat?
I think so.
Did I? I need to get one if I did, because I didn't think I had a hat that said that.
That'd be perfect.
And maybe he didn't get the hat from us. I don't think he got the hat from us.
Maybe not. How come Ford gives discounts for conquest buyers, non-Ford owners, but no rewards for loyal repeat owners?
We have been asking the same thing every month. We're like, well, you guys need to get rid of if you're going to do for Jeep Conquest, you got to do it. Because, there was one time on F-150 where they would give you a loyalty if you're an F-150 owner, but also like it was a trade-in, right? Also, if you were a Conquest, they had both offers. So that way, if you had both, because what they're rewarding for the person that's coming in, but not for the loyal customer. Yeah. And we agree. We think that's just, we can't stand it.
Yep.
So,
is it possible to get the Pro Power on Lightning Lariat under the $80,000 MSRP?
To get Pro Power on board with the Lariat?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I'd have to build one out to know for sure. Which we do have that on our website. I know Lariat under 76.9, but now the destination delivery just went up. I wonder if they probably haven't updated that yet. Definitely don't want to add any of the extra colors, right? But is not Pro Power on board not standard? Let me look. Other options. No, it isn't. It's $1,200. So when you add Pro Power on board, you're $80,290. Now, here's the other thing you need to know too about that. That's before the destination delivery. Yes. So what the government uses, they do not include the destination delivery. It's basically what the cost of the truck is, because the destination delivery is to have it shipped to you. That is separate. I learned that when I was doing my taxes. So you don't have, if you take off the destination delivery charge, you can add Pro Power on board and even the mobile power cord, and you would be all right, because you're $80,890, and you take off that $2,000 for destination delivery, you're under $80,000. So that's I think a little thing that a lot of people have missed the understanding of that is that if you actually look into the laws of that, it is before destination delivery.
There weren't many explanations on that.
Well, the theory on this is if he goes to his dealer and he orders it that way, and then they go, well, you're over 80, so you don't get it, and they don't file for it, right? And they don't know that. If they actually look at that information, they should get
There's
that.
No information about it out there, so everyone's having to learn as they go.
You might have to educate them. We had some of the early people educate us on it. I know that. when we first started doing these, they educated, hey,
A lot of our
they would
followers
say, hey,
do.
I need this or this so I can file my taxes. And we're like, oh, okay, here. So
a lot of our followers do know their stuff and do happen to educate their dealers.
yep. So it's just whether or not your dealer is welcome for the education. Yes. That's what's the struggle.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, we had someone show up from Hayes. We had someone come in and ask for you. And she's like, oh, yeah, I work at the Hayes Ford dealership.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to ask a couple questions. You probably don't want to answer my questions because I'm the competition. And we're like, no, go ahead.
Yeah. Because it's one thing to, and this was on, about videos, doing videos and such like that. It's one thing to know what you have to do. You still got to perform it. Still got to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said before, you can show them, you can do talks, you can do seminars and show them how to do it. But whether or not they actually do it is the question.
Yep. Just like anything, sports athletes, they might know how to swing the bat right or whatever, but they still have to make contact and do it. So that's just like with this. Anybody can do what I do. So you just gotta. It's not hard. It just takes commitment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got?
Those are all the questions I had.
Yep. I know Ridgeview and Jack are going back and forth there.
Yeah. Jack wants to get Rush air.
Cold air intake.
Cold air intake.
I like it. I
think Ridgeview's like for the hybrid. He's like, no, that's for the Bronco.
I really think that.
Bronco with a hybrid. Who's a thunk?
So I really on that there. I have the exhaust too, and I don't know if it's just a cold air intake that does it, or if the exhaust. But I have both because the Roush package came with both the exhaust and the cold air intake. So and I really noticed the difference because I drove it without it for a while before I got the Roush package put on it, and I could really tell the difference and how well it performed. But there are a lot of people. If I say his name 3 times, he'll appear. Ragnicon, right? he'll probably. I think he even told me because I mentioned that I had the cold air intake and I wanted the ProCal. He said, "Really, you don't need the ProCal if you got the cold air intake." So I don't know if that's true or not, but so you got the ProCal, you may not need the Roush cold air intake. So.
All right, I have a 25 F450 Platinum order in with my preferred dealer. I haven't gotten anything regarding about scheduling since order confirmation. At what point should I be worried?
I would say make that phone call because I've actually seen situations where maybe somebody's been scheduled and then they don't get the email, right? Because if they put the email in incorrectly or something and those aren't going out consistently, that yours might be. I've had situations where I've had people say, well, I called my dealer and I am scheduled. I got a build date of this and they didn't know it. So I would, find out from them. I'd be asking them. So anyway.
Yes.
Yep. So. And that and having again allocations, and there's so many people that don't really realize, but allocations is usually where usually that's where everything falls short. It's not the fact that Ford's not scheduling certain configurations like F450s and such. In fact, they doubled production. Right. The difference is that they need allocations. Right. So. You got to find out what dealers has allocations. So that's the big one. So,
can you ask, or will Ford buy his 24 and Ford Maverick back since they can't fix the backup camera recall?
They probably will not do that.
They
don't. They would have to buy back 200. What is it? 200 and some thousand people's.
Yeah. Now, because the question is, you probably haven't been able to drive it because you probably bought it during the recall.
No, if he's if he got it before the recall
I'm
started,
pretty sure he got his after the recall started, and then his dealer wouldn't let him
it's been
take.
sitting.
It's been sitting.
Oh, I think what needs to happen is, to be honest, that hasn't been reported to Ford. So if your dealer completed the deal and you did the deal and you can't take delivery of it, that means that dealer cannot report the deal to Ford. So at this point, it's just between you and the dealer. It has nothing to do with Ford, because according to Ford, you didn't buy the vehicle yet. So
Really?
you need to go back to Ford.
Because I've had some people say that their first payment's already coming up.
Well, Ford Credit and reporting to Ford Motor Company is two different things.
Okay, so would there be a possibility of unwinding the deal then?
The dealer needs to buy it back from them, period. They need to undo the deal completely, in my opinion. I'd be more forceful with your dealer than anything, and letting the dealer buy it back from you if you're in that situation. Now, if you've been driving the vehicle and your backup camera is not working, that's different.
Yes.
But if you've, in that situation, I think that's between you and the dealer. I might be wrong, because I don't work in finance and such, so I don't know how that reporting goes. But I know for a fact, because Rebecca does ours, and I know for a fact that we had one that had a recall, and she's been waiting to report it to Ford until the recall could be done. And she keeps looking it up every week.
I took this to one of our finance managers, and I said, hey, this guy was wondering if we could help him unwind his deal. I know we can't, because it's between him and his dealer. We can't do any of that. But do you think that's possible? He's like, well, if it's within the first 30 days, usually you can. I was like, well, it's on the Maverick. And he's like, I mean, he'd have to talk to his dealer about that. I'm like, that's what I thought.
It's really up to them.
So go to your
there's
dealer.
always a way out of it if the dealer really wants to be good, and there's a way out of it.
Talk to your salesman, finance associate that you worked with. If you're not getting anywhere, general manager. And if you're still not getting anywhere, Ford, talk to them and see what's going on.
If they refuse to do it and back the deal out, that's where I would contact Ford and said, they sold me a vehicle that had a recall. Ford doesn't want that, and they will figure it out. They'll contact the dealer if they need to. They can get involved if they need to. They like to just let that be between you and the dealer. But I'm telling you, worst case scenario, go to Ford complaint line, start a case, because they don't want that, right? So they'll push the dealer a little bit. So
yeah. All right. Joseph Smith said no notification emails went to the Ford website, put in my build number and VIN number, and was able to track it, and should be here in March.
You got a VIN number. Okay.
Well, this is someone else.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was that one earlier on the 450.
No. Okay. So he said that he wasn't getting any notification emails from Ford, but then he got the VIN from his dealer and was able to start looking it up.
Yeah. See, once you get that, then you can look it up.
All right. I ordered a Platinum F250 with the Platinum Plus. Ordered first week of October, and it finally got scheduled for week of March 24th. 2 weeks later, it got pushed back to April 7th. But has a VIN now. Yes.
Yes. So I have actually heard that they have started some people said that they're Platinum, because I mentioned that I thought Platinum, I did it in the short that we talked about in the live stream. We made it into short about the Platinum Plus that went live, and somebody had commented in that video that their vehicle with the Platinum Plus has been built.
Right.
So it's not, they haven't received it yet. It's still in shipping, but they had been built. So they had started production for Platinum Plus. But will some of them still be pushed back? There's that likeliness, because probably they probably weren't 100%
pushed back all the time. It's very common for them to get moved around.
But more likely they scheduled it thinking they were ready, and then that job 2 wasn't quite going as well as they did. So some of them they probably had to push back, but not all of them.
Or maybe they didn't get enough of the parts like they thought they would. Things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So they could do some, but not all because of that. Yep. All right.
It is 9:30. Last call for questions.
All right. And don't forget to pay your tabs and tip your waiter and waitresses. Last call. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, with that said, hopefully this was fun. And if you're looking for a topic you'd like to see us talk about, let us know. And
Shoot us
I
an
like getting
email,
that. So,
comment.
yep. Yeah. If you just post not necessarily right now, but like after the video gets live, if you do a comment, then I see those. Get that notification or just email us, and definitely would love to cover any topics. And a lot of topics we've done between the Maverick and some of the others and here it's ones that you guys, the viewers, are letting us know that you'd like to see that. So yeah, try to make that happen if we can. So all right,
Especially right now when they aren't releasing new vehicles.
yeah, we're kind of waiting for the summer when we'll start getting more of that going on, and we'll be able to do that. So
What's the average shipping? Do you mean from like Ford itself or from us to
I think
someone
he's
else?
looking to maybe buy a vehicle, order a vehicle from us.
Okay.
So
It depends on where you're located.
what do they usually say? And there's like a certain dollar figure per mile.
I want to say $1.25 per mile, but that could have changed.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't gotten a quote for shipping in a while, just because I can never find our shipping specialist. So I usually default and say, if you'd like more information on our shipping, talk to our sales associates and they'll get you one.
Yeah, they usually can. I know the sales guys usually know pretty well, but we can probably get you that answer. But
yeah,
there's usually they usually don't go, because once they they request a quote for shipping, then the shippers are going to get real competitive with it. They're going to, like, we use a website that casts it out to a bunch of different shipping companies. And so they basically, they bid on it to get the cheapest one. Mm-hmm. But once you put it out there, they're expecting to be able to, hey, I can do it now or whatever. So that's why they don't send it over. So that's why she usually does an estimate, because she doesn't want to put it out there, because then we'll get some of those places, some of those drivers will get really upset. And,
yeah.
Because
what they're doing is they're building up a like, I pick one up here, I drop one off here, and then pick one up there and bring it back this way, drop it off here. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't like to dry haul, as it's called. They really don't like to do that, and so they will plan routes based on what work they can pick up along that route.
Yep. All right, I think that's it. We'll call her. Yeah. So, well, thanks everybody for joining us, and hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight and learned something. And now you have graduated from Ford 101. Anyway, just kidding. Having a lot of fun with that, though. But
and if you would like to see Tim, start doing more of these, let us know.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. So thank you guys very much for joining us and still being on this late. Hopefully you guys had a good night with us. And I think that's it. All right. Well, until next week, or until our next video, stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourself.
We'll see you guys later.